Hey, 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 how's it going, everybody? I'm Kyle LaFont, and we are here with Fantasy Forge Studios in our 5th session of Adventures of Middle-earth, a D&D 5e supplement campaign. This is actually the first session where we're joined by all of our players, Valineth, Theodric, Jaylyn, and Faenor. And so we're very excited to actually get things started here. But before diving in, we're going to quickly introduce or give a chance for all the players to introduce themselves, introduce their characters really quickly. But first and foremost, I am Kyle. I am the lore master. Lore masters in Adventures of Middle-earth are the DM, and so I will be here guiding the narrative as it goes along. So we're going to be guiding the lore of everything. And I guess we'll go ahead and just jump in, starting all the way with Valineth and making our way to Faenor. So, boom, bring it to you, Dain.
Hey guys, my name's Dain, or Forged if you'd rather call me that. I play the High Elf of Rivendell, Valineth, and he's pretty cool. He is a High Elf scholar, actually, so he is the healer of the party, and he is in search for his father Morbeth, who is gone missing in recent years. So he's excited to be getting to this festival in Dale, and hopefully he doesn't have to use all of his heals all at once.
All right, and we're going to go ahead and move on to Theodric.
Hey everybody, it's that Toby Australian here, and I will be playing Theodric Rimborn. Right now his goal is to try to find somebody who can help him make sense of his prophetic dreams.
Perfect. And Jaylyn?
Cool. Hello, my name is Leah, or SpiderFan33 in Twitch chat, if you're in Twitch chat. I play Jaylyn, the warden from the Breelands. She has left her home seeking to prove herself to who or what is still unclear at this point.
Exactly. And finally, we have Faenor.
I'm Faenor, the Mirkwood Elf. Me and my companion Nympharian are on our who is my stag, by the way, on our way to go to the same feast as him. Yeah, where it's called. Where are we going?
Yeah, you're going to Dale.
When I've forgotten the destination.
Yes, Dale. Mm-hmm. Yes, making the way to Dale out of personal invitation from King Bard himself. So we have everybody, and those who have seen our one shots of all of the characters. This is going to be the accumulation of all of those, and so this session is going to be set up a little bit different than some of our other sessions. Meaning I have actually quite a bit of monologuing of what has happened through the journey thus far for the beginning of the stream, and then afterwards we're going to plop all of our characters smack dab in the middle of the city during the celebration of the 5 armies. And so this is taking place 5 years after the fall of Smaug. And so we're going to go ahead and just jump right into it. And yeah, let's do it. So, oh no, I'm breaking everything. 1 second. Ho, that's fun. Valineth, I lost you, buddy. Yeah, if you could drag yourself over. Hold on. Oh, it's because you're locked. Sorry. Unlock you. Boom. Maybe. Oh, no.
Spider, you're covering me.
Yeah, he has been lost.
Stand by for technical
He has been
difficulties.
lost to the
I have been
Wow,
gone.
guys.
I have died in session 1. It's fine. It's all good. Oh, I'm locked to you, Spider. That's nice.
Oh,
Yeah,
no, we got it. Here we go.
He stepped into the woods and immediately died. Giant spiders ate him.
I love it.
I'm used to the pleasantries of Rivendell, not the wild of Wilderland, so it's all good.
Okay. Make sure to not hit my roller on my mouse. That'd be a great thing. All right. So now finally getting into everything. So the way that we're actually going to go through each of these backstories is it's going to be based off of the distance traveled from the last session. And so we're starting with the longest, which is going to be Jaylyn, all the way to the shortest, which is Valineth. And so we're going to go ahead and undergo some of the journeys. And again, these pick up right after the one-shot sessions. So strap in, enjoy yourselves, and we're going to go get into, some monologuing. So Jaylyn. After the defeat of the Ghost in the South Downs, Jaylyn, accompanied by Lachlan, her childhood friend, Thomas, her underclassmate, Tad, her rival and bane of her existence, and Halbarad, a young Dunedain of Eriador, made their way swiftly in the middle of the night back to Bree, sneaking in through the gap of the fence in the western quarters of town. With Thomas's uncle's treasure in hand, the group of companions split up to pack their possessions, to meet back at the Prancing Pony in an hour's time, while Halbarad carried Tad to the Bree healer's quarters. Jaylyn, sneaking into her home, hurriedly wrote 2 letters. Sorry, I'm going to change the music. It's a little bit too intense for this. Yes, so wrote 2 letters, one to her father and one to her mother, packing up her belongings and her...
I will just correct that. So there was one to parents, and then the second one was actually to Walter, her tutor.
Okay, we'll correct that. Walter as well. So one to her parents, and she hands it off to Halbarad to give to Walter in the future. Awesome. Packing up her belongings and her precious loot, she took off into the spring night without a sound. The band of friends met Halbarad at the Prancing Pony, purchasing a private room where Thomas divvied the spoils as promised before planning their next move. At such a point, Lachlan, determined to improve his skills at healing the wounded and the sick, decided to journey to see the elves in Rivendell. Thomas, with plans of becoming a wandering merchant, would travel over the Misty Mountains, through the shadows of Mirkwood, all the way to Esgaroth, the center of trade in the north. And Jaylyn, tasked with finding the Grey Pilgrim, would set out on her own journey to discover herself as the allure of the road leads her to the city of Dale for the gathering of the 5 armies. With plans set, funds divided, Lachlan bought Maisie from the stables, the pony, from Barnabas Butterbur, who would serve as his travel companion for adventures to come. Halbarad introducing the group to Gromer and Dromer, dwarves of the Blue Mountains, who would act as traveling companions and protectors during their journey, as their paths align for their final destination is in Erabor, the kingdom under the mountain. Without further word, the group of travelers departed the quiet town of Bree, venturing out into the wild world of Middle-earth, an exciting yet daunting task. As the company made their way through the lands of Eriador, spring turned to summer, as they finally descended into the hidden valley of Imladris. This was the end of Lachlan's adventure with the party, where he was welcomed by Elrond, half-elven, by the words and recommendations of Halbarad, to study the ways of elvish medicine. Jaylyn, Thomas, Gromer, and Dromer ascended the high pass over the Misty Mountains, where they soon were pursued by wolves. Nearly escaping with their lives, the company made their way into Wilderland, where their pursuers were either lost or dispatched. This path led the party to the Anduin, the great river of Middle-earth, the very same that winds all the way down through the lands of Gondor and Ithilien to the southern seas. And as the company reached the eaves of northern Mirkwood, autumn was suddenly upon them. The decision was made for the company to take the path of the Grey Mountain Narrows, avoiding venturing into Mirkwood. But what they found was nothing but scarred land and miles upon miles of cragged terrain, treacherous for even the most avid adventurer. The company spent weeks lost in an expanse of hills, with barely any sleep, fighting off stray goblins and wicked men. Yet somehow, this felt to be far from the greatest threat that lay in this forsaken land. At the end of October, Jaylyn's company made their way into the northern Dalelands, at last, where the lonely mountain could be seen, erect, piercing the sky in the crisp-autumn daylight. In a matter of days, the company found themselves in Esgaroth, where they left Thomas, eager, yet weary from travel, to begin his life as a trader. By mid-November, Jaylyn, Gromer, and Dromer made their way into the busy streets of Dale, as lively celebration and busyness buzzed in the streets. With restored vigor of finally reaching her destination, Jaylyn searched the city of Dale for rumors of the Grey Pilgrim. Moving on to Faenor. After the slaying of Greymuzzle Hob, the terror of the eaves of Mirkwood, Faenor, along with his dwarven companions, Snorri, Bori, and Har, were welcomed as favored guests in the settlement of Rowanhold, where once they were looked upon with scorn by the people of Rowanhold and Galavira, the leader of the Mirkwood homestead. The flames of battle forged an unbreakable bond between the strange travelers and Galavira's people. With their enslavement to the vile war at its end, Galavira offered her patronage to Faenor and his company, making a new ally against the growing shadow. In the days to come, the villagers did all they could to make the company feel at home. All the while, each member made themselves hard at work repairing the homestead with their many crafting abilities. Snorri, with the help of Har, the stonemason, established a forge, where Snorri, as a metalsmith, showed the people of Rowanhold dwarven techniques in the way of forging steel and iron, from the common horseshoe all the way to the blades of axes. Har took the opportunity to train the makeshift militia of Rowanhold in the ways of organized combat and battlefield tactics, so they would protect themselves in the future and not fall prey to another evil master. Bori and Faenor were hard at work helping to rebuild damaged homes and structures, and most importantly, fortifying the settlement's palisades, which had been in relative disrepair from years of neglect and raids from goblins. As the party were ready for departure to make their way to the Elf Gate in northern Mirkwood, the town rallied to the companions, offering them many gifts, meager as they may be, to help them on their journey. Thus, with grateful hearts and strengthened will, Faenor, along with his new steed, Nymphiarion, and his dwarven companions, made their way north along the edge of Mirkwood and Wilderland. During this time, Faenor and the dwarves bonded over stories, sharing experiences and boons of good food and good ale. Yet, the further north the company ventured, Faenor's sense of danger heightened. Half a day out from the forest gate, the party came upon a wandering traveler. He looked old, hunched over, and leaned heavily on a wooden staff, dressed in robes of gray. Bori, being the most eager of the group, called out to this traveler, to which the traveler quickened his pace. The company followed until the traveler ducked behind a rocky outcropping. Suddenly, Faenor's company were beset by an ambush, planned by the looks of it, where a host of large men attempted to bind the hands and legs of Faenor and the dwarves. Drawing weapons, Faenor and the dwarves fought with all their might, bringing down a few of the bandits in the struggle. Seriously outnumbered, the party fled to the Elf Gate with the last breaths that they could muster. The escape was narrow, and not without consequence. Ducking into the eaves of Mirkwood provided a strange amount of safety, but upon examination, not everybody was accounted for. Bori was missing. The party waited until the fall of night, when Faenor would search for the missing dwarf under the cover of nightfall. He searched and searched for his companion, but to no avail. It seemed as if the raiding party weren't simple bandits, but expert travelers in these lands, as they abandoned the area without any signs or even the smallest turned-over stone. A day or two passed, and the search continued, but to no avail. Their companion was nowhere to be found. Calling off the search, Snorri bade the party to continue their journey. Har, in the stone where they were beset upon, carved a series of runes, a note to Snorri, or a note to Bori, only decipherable by dwarves, of their location and well-being. The remaining members entered Mirkwood through the forest gate, reaching Esgaroth by the middle of October. It was here that Faenor, Snorri, and Har departed ways. Snorri to search for his sons, and Har for his wife. Faenor stayed in the elven quarters of Esgaroth for a time, continuously going over in his head the loss of Bori, determined that he would one day return to the area and find him. In the meantime, Nymphiarion stayed hidden in the wilderness on the western side of the Long Lake, where Faenor would venture off and ride him under the light of the stars, recollecting recent events. This continued until the week of the gathering of the 5 armies. On the morning of the 15th of November, Faenor, as he had done so many times in the past, gathered his belongings and made his way to the city of Dale, letter in hand, holding the signature of King Bard. Theodric. Departing in the early morning with his guide Lore, Theodric swiftly collected his rations from the dwarven barkeep at the Riverstead Tavern. Troubled by his dreams, he went about his day with the overhanging presence of déjà vu, growing weary about what the road ahead would bring. Lore simply would gaze at Theodric in a calm and inquisitive demeanor, every now and then interrupting the silence with questions about the lands of the Rittermark and the state of its people. Each conversation felt all too familiar, further troubling Theodric. The long days wound on as Theodric and Lore traveled always within the sight of the river running, as it ran southward from the Long Lake and even further than that, the Grey Mountains. Because they were traveling on foot, Theodric found himself growing tired and eager to leave the barren lands of the Nethermarches. The miles of rolling hills left him longing for home in Rohan, where at least he was surrounded by a host of able fighters in familiar lands. His nightmares returned frequently of the ancient orc, leaving Theodric with many restless nights. One of these evenings, Lore inquired about Theodric's lack of sleep, to which Theodric divulged to Lore his deepest and innermost fears and visions. Lore took in Theodric's words in silence, at least for a time. The way that Lore behaved was curious to Theodric. While Lore seemed simply an able-bodied guide, he held himself with high, noble bearing. He was slow to answer, deeply thoughtful, and the few words that he said hung in Theodric's mind with great persistence. About a week into their march, the companions made their way to another small town, the crossing of the Selduin. If Riverstead seemed humble, this town seemed like the outright boonies, with only a few large buildings, a smattering of homes, a homey tavern, but most notably a large gatehouse that connects a sprawling bridge, the only crossing of the river running Theodric had seen since leaving Riverstead. Theodric and Lore stayed at the crossing of the Selduin for only a few nights, but he could not shake the feeling that the people here looked at him and Lore with scorn. After some much-needed rest and a quick resupply, the two departed north. It was a slow process, but Theodric and Lore began to act like regular comrades, with Theodric learning useful skills such as hunting and reading the land, and Lore learning the ins and outs of how to ride Baradarok. And so, they passed the days in this manner, leaving Theodric feeling quite a bit more competent on the road. The lands as Theodric and Lore entered into the upper marches began to prove more challenging, as the banks of the river running began to be soaked with marshland, forcing the two to venture more inland, away from the relative safety of the river. In these lands, the wind blew harder, and the sounds of nature perforated the silence of the Nethermarches. This left Theodric ever on edge, and to top it off, Theodric began to notice the ever-scanning eyes of Lore, gazing at something on the horizon. At this point, too, autumn had heavily begun to set, leading to bitterly cold nights, relieved by slightly warmer days. But the one thing that kept Theodric's determination was the view of a distant mountain on the horizon, the sight that Lore had explained to Theodric as the Lonely Mountain, the greatest kingdom of the dwarves of this age. In this region, the lands were scattered with ruins of ancient towns and cities, carved into the hills that were constantly cascading through the landscape like the waves of the sea. One particularly cold evening, Theodric and Lore stopped at a hilltop ruin, where they would shelter from the biting wind. Setting up a fire, the two chatted into the night under the silvery stars. Hearing the calls of Lore's hawk in the distance, Lore took up his spear and swiftly left in pursuit, as this particular call, one which Theodric had grown accustomed to, meant that the hunt was on. Sipping on some warmed water, Theodric listened to the night, thinking of all the people he had left behind. Esmond, Eomund, and Maria. How he longed to see their faces, and how he desired for them to see him now, being off on his own for months. His thoughts, however, soon became interrupted with the sounds of howls in the distance. Immediately standing and gripping his sword, Theodric soon was overcome with fear as he looked about him, and suddenly he realized that this ruin, this hilltop, was all too familiar. The cries of the wolves drove Theodric back towards his campfire as the howls grew closer. In a matter of minutes, the howls turned into growls as Theodric was confronted with a pair of wolves creeping towards him and Baradarok from the shadows. Theodric was filled with terror as the gnarled smile of an ancient orc flooded his thoughts, and he found himself thinking of the end. Baradarok whinnied and bade Theodric to ride, to which the young rider of the Rittermark swiftly did, as if it were the most natural action in the world. Raising his sword above his head, Theodric began to reminisce about his family, his adopted family, of his father. And out of the recesses of his terror, Theodric loosed a ferocious war cry, one that was foreign to him, but natural all the same. Leaping over the flames, Theodric and Baradarok fought the vicious wolves with whirling rage. Theodric fought as if in a rampaging of fury. Cutting down the two wolves, withstanding the blows of tooth and claw, Theodric slayed his foes, wheeling Baradarok around ready to strike any other who dare approach. A rustle from the bushes sent Theodric into a bloodlust towards the noise. Raising his sword towards the approaching creature, Theodric cried primally as his sword was ripped from his hand by the talons of a great hawk. Standing below him was Lore, spear up in a defensive position, dragging the carcass of a wolf behind him. Quickly coming to his senses, Theodric dismounted Baradarok and surveyed the battlefield, taking in the result of his blade and, more damagingly, the gaze of terror in the eyes of Lore. And without another word, the two prepared their kill and went to sleep for the night. Another restless night for Theodric. Morning came swiftly and the two packed up to move on, at which point Lore spoke for the first time since the evening before. What I saw in you last night, Theodric, was nothing that I have seen in the men of the West. You were ferocious as a bear, savage as a warg. Perhaps there is something to these dreams that you are having that goes deeper than just an external danger. Handing Theodric a folded cloth, Lore continued. You need answers, and perhaps a dive into your past might help you find what you desire. And upon that cloth, Theodric laid his eyes upon the sigil of Mountain Hall, stronghold of the woodmen of Wilderland. Lore explained to Theodric that his people are the descendants of the woodmen and the men of Wilderland, and that perhaps there are those in Dale for the gathering of the 5 armies that can lend him insight to his heritage. Valineth. Valineth stood supporting the wounded Haleth as Lorkhard vanished into the night. Lake Town was a bustle, even at such a late hour, with traders closing up shop, foreigners taking in the sights, and guards keeping a vigilant eye out for trouble on the waters of Esgaroth. Valineth, helping Haleth into the local inn, connected to the tavern at the center of the trader's quarter, had purchased 2 rooms, one for him and the other he made up as a makeshift healer's quarters. Valineth, laying Haleth down, began his work, taking out his belt dagger and scraping out the infection that had beset Haleth's wounds. Digging into his pack, Valineth pulled out a number of weeds, to which he ground up, with the help of his recently gifted herbalist kit, into a poultice to rub into the freshly cleaned wounds. Skillfully, Valineth sutured the wounds of the Mirkwood elf, finally closing them up after being opened for so long. And as Valineth wrapped Haleth in his last bandage, Valineth looked into the eyes of his patient. Pain was evident in Haleth's face, undergoing surgery with little to no relief for his wounds. However, these were the eyes of someone who had endured great pain before. Lines of worry and grief lay upon his fair face, and the sign of torture, both mental and physical. Yet, through gritted teeth, the elf kept his composure through the entire process. Breathing heavily, Haleth checked Valineth's work, praising the healing skills of the hands of Imladris. Relieved that he was able to stabilize the wounded elf, Valineth told Haleth that while his work was successful, it is only temporary, and that he needs to see a well-equipped healer in Dale. Thus, the two made plans to depart for Dale when Haleth healed up enough to make the journey to Dale. That evening, Valineth propped himself up in his room and gazed out the windows to the stars, and his elf dreams began to take shape, as if each star had a memory of its own. Firstly, Valineth dreamed of his home, Imladris, and the healing works of Lord Elrond, incredible to behold, with thousands of years of practice. He dreamed of his mother, Elowe, the most beautiful woman in all of Rivendell, outside of the daughter of Elrond, of course. He reminisced how she instructed him in the healing arts, as she was an assistant to Lord Elrond in the Chambers of Healing, wishing to perfect his skill to better aid those whom he hopes to protect. These dreams formed into ones of Glorfindel, the mightiest warrior of this age. Many stars above seemed to hold memories of him. From riding into the Lomoth, becoming the lord of the House of the Golden Flower, smiting the wicked servants of Morgoth and their flaming lashes, turning the tides of battle at Fornost against the Witch King of Angmar, sending him fleeing to the cursed lands which he was banished, which turned to his young eyes for witnessing the return of his queen, from the hands of the orcs centuries previous. The pain in Queen Celebrane's eyes, the very same that rested on the face of Haleth, the very eyes that stirred his father, Morbeth, into action with Elrond's sons, Eladin and Elrohir, hunting down the shadow in all quarters of Middle-earth. All of these dreams led Valineth to pondering his father, his bravery, and his might. Might that he could not hope to bear by living through all of the ages of the world. He thought about his journey, his notes, any traces of his father's whereabouts. If one thing is clear, these are darkening times indeed. Times that can remove one of Middle-earth's strongest warriors without any news, any witnesses. The days that followed left Valineth exploring the city of Esgaroth, fascinated by each new culture, each new encounter, to which Valineth vigorously recorded in his notebook in the fine Sindarin script. The rest of the time, he gazed at the vambrace from Lorkhard. It was clear that this vambrace bore the sigil of Numenor. But what would such a relic be doing this far north and this far east? And the pursuit of those questions only began to bring new ones. What was this vambrace capable of? What could the recovery of such an ancient object mean for the world of men? Yet, in the midst of Valineth's study, one thing was for sure. All signs, all leads of what he has been after for the last few years, from the whereabouts of his father to the questions of the vambrace, point to Dale. Surely, with more than half of Wilderland being present at this celebration, someone is bound to have answers for him. After a few days, Haleth had enough energy to make the journey to Dale on his own. And so, packed, ready to move on, Valineth and Haleth departed to the city of Dale in search for the House of Healers and in search for answers. And that is where we are going to open up into the city of Dale. So the city of Dale, it is bustle. So it is currently right now the 16th of November, the very beginning of the celebration of the 5 armies. First and foremost, before I dive too much in, does anyone want to comment on anything that happened previously on their journeys?
I just want to comment
My hand
on.
axe still gone. Did I get my hand axe? Was that the only thing I found? I'm just asking.
Yeah, you have your hand axe.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
I was just gonna
That
comment
wasn't a waste
on
of equipment then.
what a great prologue that was. Oh, it's getting me so
Oh, yeah.
pumped for this. Oh my
No, it was
gosh,
good.
Yeah. 30-minute monologues, man.
love it.
30-minute
Why
monologues
did my
indeed.
audiobook stop? Come on, that's what we're here for.
This is the interactive part. You have to do something here.
Oh, I have to make it. Oh, this is choose your own adventure.
Yeah, choose your own adventure. I love it. Oh my goodness.
But no, I don't have anything other than that. So.
Okay. Any corrections? Anything before diving in?
No, that was perfect.
Okay. Cool. So, with your own kind of pursuits in mind, we'll quickly recap those things that each of you are searching for. Valineth. Well, everyone's searching for answers for something, I believe. Valineth, you are searching for your father. You're searching for word about him and this Vambrace. Theodric, you are searching for answers about your dreams, perhaps your heritage as woodman of Wilderland. Jaylyn, you are currently looking specifically for the Grey Pilgrim in Dain. However, you are also in search of your own purposes here on the road. You have experienced quite a bit on the road and have endured a very, very long journey indeed. By far the longest journey of anybody within the party making their way to Dale. So you've experienced quite a bit. And so maybe some of those experiences on the road have shaped you to be a little bit different than where you started in Breeze because it was such a long journey. But that's going to be completely up to you on however you want to play that. And finally, Faenor, you are here not only traveling as a companion to these dwarves, but you are here out of personal invite to King Bard of Dale. So you are here for the celebration, but you are also here more specifically for the dinner that is held at the very end of the festivities.
Was kind of sub goal is to look for people potentially who might have the strength to help fight back against the shadow.
Yes, exactly.
That's like, as much as that I was doing that anyway, I'm now doing it here instead of just wherever.
Your work does not stop.
I think
Yes.
Jaylyn would be pretty good about that.
Yeah, literally
Hardy,
fighting a
hardy,
ghost.
ha.
I heard of a legendary warrior who threw rocks. What happened
No,
to
you're
that
getting me
fella?
confused with Tad. I'm
Ah.
sorry. Tad's not here right now.
He
Tad
sounds
can't
like a
come to the
legendary
party.
warrior.
Tad gonna become a main character in this party. I love it. At least the idea of him.
I would love that.
Tad
As much as I hate
Tad
Tad,
eventually
I
becomes
also love
Tad eventually becomes the servant of Jaylyn. No.
Jaylyn's death was
Jaylyn would
deeply,
appreciate that, yeah.
deeply hurt us all. We have Tad, so it's basically the same thing. Like, easily replaced.
Oh goodness. Goodness gracious. But yes, and so kind of going over a little of the sites that are happening here. So as rumor had it, pretty much half of Wilderland was supposed to be here. You look through the city, and with how crowded the streets are, with the hustle and bustle of everything that's going on, yeah, it's pretty close. None of you have seen this many people in your life in one place. It is crowded, it is bustling, all kinds of men, elves, dwarves, people from all over. Even to the point where people such as Jaylyn, as a she actually sees a couple of hobbits that are here. She sees maybe one or two Brelanders that are here as well. Maybe they just could be really short bardings. That's true too. But you can even see people who look to be of Rohirrim ancestry, Theodric, upon your time looking around the city. And Faenor, of course, there are plenty of Mirkwood elves that are here as well. And Valineth, surprisingly, you have not spotted in your entire time here a single elf from Imladris. No high elves of Rivendell here. However, you are all here at the beginning of the celebration. And you are all gathered at area number 9. So on your map, you have area number 9 right here. And so this city is huge. Enormous. Let's go ahead and take a kind of a quick tour of everything that this city has to offer. All kinds of things from just in general, like shopping quarters, healing quarters, to which Valineth, you successfully were able to deliver Haleth to his quarters. And all of you who had companions going into this, you have successfully departed from them. Theodric, you with Lore, upon arrival at the gate, Lore did not actually enter the city with you, but he bids you farewell and good tidings. And with that, you make your way a little bit nervous at first, but eager to enter this city. Jaylyn, obviously you are here alone as your dwarven companions have made their way in, and you've been here for a little while, so you've kind of familiarized yourself a little bit with Dale, as it were. But your two companions, Grommer and Drommer, have already made their way to the Lonely Mountain. And Faenor, you have departed from Snorri and Har, actually in Esgaroth. And so they have made their way to the Lonely Mountain prior to your arrival here in Dale.
Departed from the Dwarven Bros.
Yes, exactly. So, but yes, so going all the way to Area 9 here, we have the Market Square. This is by far the largest area, like open space within all of Dale. And within the center of this city, highly fortified, but the streets all make sense, and they all kind of wind their way up to this point. This is almost like the highest point that exists in Dale. As you all scan in different areas kind of throughout, you scan and look at the skies that are around you, and you are amazed by how impressive the Lonely Mountain looks. It is enormous as it just looms over you, casting the shadow over Dale. But even within the shadow, the joy that is here does not seem to stop. It is chilly, it is a cold end of November, and winter is upon you. And during the nights, you have a little bit of snowfall that does fall, but by the time the sun comes out in the sky, it's either all been stomped out, the snow, or it's been pushed to the side, or whatever. These streets are relatively clear. You have noticed that along the walls, huge walls. So these walls stand completely stone, 25 feet up. The walls, on the top of the walls themselves, two horses can walk abreast with each other. That's how large they are. And there are guards all around, all wearing purple and red capes. You can only assume that these are guards of Dale. And they are keeping as best of lookout as they can over the crowds, but specifically of anyone trying to sneak their way into the city outside of the two entryways. So we have number 1, which is down here. This is going to be the Trader's Gate. This gate is always remained open night and day. This is going to be the main entrance in and out, and this path that goes down is the Merchant's Way, and that eventually leads all the way down to the Long Lake in Esgaroth. And then the second one is number 2 here. That's going to be the Raven's Gate. So the Raven's Gate is open during the day mostly, but at night around twilight, it always is closed. There is never going to be a time where it is not going to be remained open. So the Raven's Gate closes during the night. Also, we have over here, the number 4 is the quays. And so the quays are like basically a warehouse. It's the warehouse district where most people coming from ships between Erabor to the Long Lake, all the way down the river running, do all of their trade in and out of Dale. And so this area is fortified to a degree, but you notice as you walk through this area that most merchants keep to themselves. Most merchants do what they can to protect their own stuff. They're not relying on the guards of Dale to do so. Very protective of that. And 5 here is going to be the South Quays. And so essentially what this is it's a very old storage house, and you have not made your way out, so you don't know much more about this area. And then moving kind of on down to number 7. Where are we here? Number 7 is going to be the farmer's market. And so you have found, especially Jaylyn, you find this place is really nice. The food here is closest to what you've been able to have in Bree, the freshest that is available within these lands. And if you become well known for a good price, you can get a decent amount of food too. And then we have number 6 here, which is going to be the merchant's quarters. Number 6, where are we here? I think that's 6. Yep, 6. The merchant's quarter, where most of the merchants end up living. So it's a lot of like rental properties, that kind of stuff, where merchants to stay during the nights. And then we have number 8 coming along here. This is going to be the River Road. This is the main road that goes through the center of Dale. And so it's basically what connects the two. This is going to be your busiest walkway. And from your time spent here, you pretty much try to avoid this as much as possible, just because of the crowds. And then obviously we've gone over the Market Square. That's fun. And then number 10. So number 10 is very, very important. Right over here. This is going to be a area known as the Missing Scale. This is the main tavern in all of Dale. There's a number of them, but if you want to know any information, find anything out about what you want, the Missing Scale is your place to be. It is very aptly named after the missing scale of Smaug the dragon, and the people of Dale, especially King Bard, really prides himself in this name and really enjoys the kind of the fun wordplay, but also the history and the homage to the people of Dale. And then we move on a little bit further. So we have the 11. So up here is going to be the Ravensgate district. And so this is primarily a residential area. A lot of dwarves live in this area, as it is the closest to Erabor. As you do need to be thoroughly checked in order to become a part of the dwarves of Erabor, with the exception of if you are Blue Mountain Heritage or Gray Mountain Heritage. You are automatically allowed entry into basically Erabor if you are of those two. Let's see, what else? The White Lane, number 12. So number 12 is going to be right here. This is going to be the area around the palace. So this is going to be mainly used and blocked off a lot of the time to the general public, as it is the main thoroughfare for the basically around the palace. So that's fun. 13 is going to be Anvil Way. And so that's going to be over here. This is where all the blacksmithing happens. And so a mixture of elves, dwarves, especially dwarves, but also men, do gather, and they create a bunch of different kinds of goods. Obviously, probably not of the quality of, the vaults of Thror, but really good dwarven craft stuff can be found and purchased in this area. And then 14 is going to be the Royal Palace. So where is that at? So right here. So actually, I made a mistake. I made a big mistake. Royal Palace is here, connected to the center area. So, yeah, big chunky building in the middle. This is where, obviously, King Bard lives. And this is actually the place where the feast at the end of the celebration is held as well. And then 15 is going to be the Royal Barracks. And so, I think, is that 15 right here? Royal Barracks. And so, yeah. Basically, all of the weapons and everything are kept there as well. 16 is going to be your residential quarters. I know this is a lot to take in, guys. Just bear with me. 16. It's somewhere here. 17. We're getting close. We're getting close. This is a big, chunky city. Probably the biggest that you'll visit. It's somewhere here. Anywhere. So somewhere within here.
Found it.
Dokol. Where is that?
Yeah, it's lower left corner.
Left corner. Right here, 17. So 17 is the commons, and so this is going to be less people are going, like more affluent people that live in Dale. Actually, so the thing about the Bardings is they have a really high like heritage. They really care about lineages and everything like that, compared to the people of Esgaroth that could give two craps about that. So typically these wealthier nobles, a lot of them are merchants, but a lot of them are just nobles by blood, tend to live in the residential quarters, and then the commons, which are 17, are going to be for more of the common folk are going to be living down here. And then 18 is the Nest. So this is actually the largest tower that is set up in all. This has the perfect view of pretty much everything surrounding. And actually, there is basically a torch. Think of kind of the torches in Gondor, where they light them. Every single day, there are signals that go between them and up atop Raven Hill, which is just over to the left here of your screen. The dwarves of Erabor, and the dwarves of Erabor are basically up there warning the people of Dale if there are any attacks coming from a higher vantage point. But the Nest is the current highest vantage point in all of Dale. It's a giant tower in the middle. So there's that. You have the Water House, which is 19, which is somewhere. Not seen, not shown. That's okay. It's somewhere. You don't have to worry about that area too much. It's mostly for traders. And then the old quarter, which is 20, so this is going to be your area. This is some of the more like older run down areas, but a lot of commoners live here. A lot of the people who are poorer also do live here. But you know, they do have a little bit more money than like the most poor that are here. And then Snapfire Alley 21, which is going to be down this way, is kind of where a lot of festivities and a lot of games and that kind of stuff, kind of like gambling halls, that kind of stuff, are going to be in this area. And then you have the Broken Stone, which is 22. This is going to be your very poor, kind of the slums of Dale. And then 23, which is the Red Row, which is somewhere. I guess it doesn't really matter if I can't find it. Yeah, I guess it doesn't really matter. I can't find it. So
It's right here. It's right. It's smack dab in the middle.
Oh, 20. Here we go. 23?
Yeah, 23.
Awesome.
Right here.
Yep. You're going to have to broadcast your mouse. I can't see that.
Oh, it's not broadcasted?
No. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, there we go. Right there. Oh, it's not broadcasting? What is going on here?
It keeps blinking on and off, but that's okay.
Right here.
I trust you. The red row isn't super duper important, so
Okay.
You don't have to worry about it too much. But anyways, you are all off doing your thing. Where do all of your starting locations want to be?
I will just quickly ask. The only ones I missed were 3 and 6. Could I please have a?
Yes, 3 is going to be the Merchant's Way, which is down here at the very bottom. This is just the main road that goes in. And then 6 is going to be the Merchant's Quarters, which are over here, which is where most of the merchants end up living and staying for the night, very close to the quay. So,
Okay, cool. Yep.
cool.
Thank you. I've got all the places listed down now.
Wow, well done. Good, good, good. All right.
That is dedication.
That is very dedication.
If anyone needs a rehash now, I can be the one to tell people. where
In
to
my
go.
Pop
noggin.
it in the Discord. Do me a solid.
Oh yeah, that's fair.
Okay.
I would probably would Faenor be able to start probably in Snapfire Alley.
Absolutely.
He's probably already
21.
set himself up and probably just having a wander through, having a look at the festivities of the city.
Perfect.
It's been a little while since he's been here in Dale, so
Perfect. I like that. Snapfire Alley for Faenor.
Valineth, again, his main purpose of being here, besides delivering Halith to the infirmary, is he's looking for his father, right? So he's probably going to be in a place that's more like warrior laden, since his father's a warrior. So maybe 11 or 13, I would say.
All right. So
Blacksmith
11 is going to
or-
be the Ravensgate district.
Is
So
that where
up-
a lot of the warriors are, or would that be, or would?
So this is
18
where
more
this is
be?
where a lot of the dwarves are.
Oh, never mind then.
mhm.
18 or probably 13.
Okay.
Potentially.
Yeah, 18 is the nest, and that definitely there's warriors there, and then Anvil Way, definitely warriors in
Okay.
Anvil Way.
Probably the nest, since they're keeping a lookout, right? So
Yeah.
probably he'll be at 18 down there.
Okay, perfect.
So.
Cool. What time of the day is it?
So currently we're actually starting pretty late in the morning. So we're probably looking about like 10:30 a.m.
Yeah. Okay. That being the case, I will probably start. Let's go. The missing scale in. Is that what it's-
Perfect. Yep, the missing scale in. Awesome. So that's gonna be number 10.
Yeah, I'll make a habit of like visiting there like every day, every few days.
I like it. I like it.
Have you
All right.
found the Great Billbook Room yet?
Right, exactly. Perfect. And then Theodric, where would you like to start off?
Arc around every-
Theodric is in number 9, our city square.
Perfect. So Theodric is smack dab right in the middle of everything.
Yep.
I like it.
Gazing in wonder.
Yes, and it is a wonderful sight indeed. You all have been here, with the exception of Faenor, this is technically his second day here, but the rest of you have been here for a couple of days at most, or at least. And so definitely Jaylyn's been here for a little bit longer than everyone else, but everyone else has been here, kind of seen the sights of the city. So that's why I went through that whole arduous process of explaining everything to you, so you're kind of familiar with the city, as it were. Awesome. And so let's go ahead and first jump in. Jaylyn, so you are currently looking for this gray pilgrim. You stop in day after day looking for an individual, a fellow such as this. You do notice that there are some regulars that are here, but with the hustle and bustle of everything that's going in the town, there are quite a few people that are not so. There are, you see a lot of warrior-looking folks, but you see even more just regular people just coming in for the festivities. You can tell that this is clearly very much a celebration. You ask around, and as you do so, I'm actually going to have you make a perception check for me. So first and foremost, perception check. First rolls.
First roll.
That one.
This can only go well, okay? I have a +3, so
Who
even
watched
if it
her
isn't that
one
one,
shot?
This
Okay.
roll is
it
gonna
is,
tell
it
us
is a
no.
7, okay?
Seven.
For a total of 10,
Oh,
which is hilarious to me.
That's pretty good.
Smack
That-
dab in the
Yeah,
middle.
okay.
That's smack dab in the middle. You make your way, and the days themselves seem to kind of blend together, as every day you're looking for this gray pilgrim. You haven't been able to find anybody who has seen them, although there are people who know of him. And so they've given you information about what to look for and what this individual might look like. And so the Gray Pilgrim, you have a number of basically options of various versions of this story, but the one thing that all of them have in common is this individual, he has a tall gray hat. He has a beard of some kind. Some say he has a very short beard. Some say he has a beard all the way down to the floor. And then others say he has no beard at all. He's just an old man with no beard, very finely trimmed. And then they also say that he carries a staff. Some say that it's a finely groomed staff, and some say that it's a wood-knotted staff. There's only two versions of that story. And then the lastly that you have is he basically the one advice, and the nice thing is you rolled a 10, so it was kind of the minimum that you needed for this last piece of information. Sorry, I won't say those types of things if that kind of detracts from everything, but it's the minimum you needed for one bit of information. If you are out seeking him, you will not find him. And you've heard that from a couple individuals, but these individuals are people that you have seen frequenting the scale. And so with it being the day of the beginning of the celebration, actually word in the missing scale has spread that everybody who wants to be part of this celebration, anybody who is anybody, needs to make their way to the center of town. And in the center of town, there is supposedly a big announcement. King Bard is a king who is out amongst the people a lot of the time, but he very rarely addresses the city as a whole. He has an address that he wishes to say to the city, so it is up to you, Jaylyn, whether you want to attend that or not, but he is seeking or going to attempt to address the town, as it were.
Yeah, okay, I'll join in. Why not?
Perfect. Which then brings us to Valineth. So you are currently at the nest.
Yeah, 18. Yeah, so he's going to be looking around for like any guards, anyone who seems to like this is their job, basically, to be the lookout man.
Definitely lots of them, but there's always a set of two people that are at the very top of the nest. And so the way that this building or this tower looks is it stands atop a much larger building at its base, and it is actually a wood structure that goes all the way up, and there is a ladder that goes all the way through the center to the very top. And so you're actually not allowed to go up to obviously the top of the nest without permission. And so do you wish to seek permission in order to get to the top of the nest?
Yeah, or just let's talk with anyone who seems like they know what they're doing. I mean, Valineth is a man who tries to peer into people's souls and tries to get a read on people before he approaches them. So he's going to be looking for someone who seems to know what he's doing. Preferably, I mean, like again, you said it, he hasn't seen any elves of Rivendell or anything, but preferably someone of elven descent who may have had contact with his father,
Okay.
I guess.
I'm going to have you make a traditions check as you look through the various types of people in the area.
Okay. that. All right, here we go.
Just right here profiling people.
Yeah, literally, that's him, just like sitting
a
there,
good
like,
way, in a
could
good
he
way.
be helpful? Could he
It's
be
a
helpful?
profiling
Who here
of
looks
someone.
like they would
Oh,
actually be
the-
a helpful person?
Those of you who watched my one shot, he's not the best at that. And you rolled a 9, so
9. You
Making our way downtown.
Yeah, you gaze around and you actually only see what look to be guards of Dale in this area. And so the fact that you've been here and you've been hanging out for a while actually does make you stand out. And after not too long of time, a couple of guards actually end up approaching you.
Why, hi there, gentlemen. Do you happen to be lookouts here in this fine city of Dale that you have here?
They gaze down at themselves and they look at their cloaks and they pull them up and they're like, "Hey, looks like so to us. What would you be doing here? Disturbing the peace?"
Disturbing the peace? Why, quite the contrary. I am here to enjoy the festival, but I also have some business of my own as well. Would you happen to lend an ear towards a lowly elf such as myself?
Fine. If it means that you'll be going on your way after this, sure. And they listen in. You divulge your secrets, everything, asking around. What specifically? Do you want to also ask about anything about the Vambrace or anything like that?
Yeah. So, like, first he's going to be talking about his father, but then, as he's talking about his father, he's going to be messing with, because he's wearing it. He got it as a gift, so he's just been kind of sporting it the entire time, getting used to it as he's been wearing it and stuff. But first and foremost, he's going to ask about if any of the guards have seen any high elves or anyone who is not of the Woodland Realm, or if they can point him towards potential elves from the Woodland Realm task, if they don't have any information.
Potential elves, you say, or you're looking for more of your kind. I would assume that you came with your kind, but you look a little bit oddly dressed for the typical folk of the Woodland Realm.
Oh, that is because I am not of the Woodland Realm. I am from, how do you say in the common tongue, the city of Rivendell. Have you heard of it? It's west of the Misty Mountains.
They think for a second. Can't say that I have.
Oh, well, it is a lovely place. If you ever do happen to pass by one of these days, I'm sure they would welcome you with open arms.
Well, my duty is here to the city, and if you are from far away, I do say, probably not be making my way out there. But fancy pants elves from out west. Okay, good, understand, everything is clear. No, we have not seen any of your kind around here. But chances are, if you make your way all the way up there, and they kind of point almost like they're like talking to someone who like doesn't know the language. If you go all the way up there, and they do have like a thick accent, in the Dalish tongue is the common tongue, but it's, you know, it takes a little bit of getting used to.
Yeah.
You know what, there's a center of town, and while you're here, enjoy the festivities. And, you know, maybe, perhaps, you can find another fancy pants elf up there.
Is he getting the tourist treatment? Like, straight up the tourist
Straight up getting the tourist treatment.
He wouldn't know. He's been a tourist everywhere he goes. Why, thank you for your kindness and your help. I will make my way that way. And he's like playing with his bracer that he has, and he also looks down and he's like, "Oh yes, I actually do have a question. You are a man of Dale. Would you happen to know what this symbol means? I've run into it in a few of my studies. However, I don't actually know." And he shows it to the.
He looks at it, and it's like, it's fancy. It has a tree on it. Both of them think really hard about it.
Would Valineth know? Like, just.
Oh, you absolutely know what this is.
Oh, why would I even ask that? Anyways, it's fine.
I'm assuming it's something of your people. Are you trying to say that you're some kind of VIP around here?
Oh, no, not at all. I was just wondering if you know of anyone from this place. It's from Gondor, actually. Have you ever heard of it?
Oh, Gondor. Yes, we have a few of those here. Actually, if you're looking for Gondor, make your way over to, and then they kind of pull out like this like makeshift little map. Make your way over to, and they point, Anvil Way. they're always looking for all kinds of good dwarven and you know, really fine made product over there. And to be honest, we do get a fair share of warriors that come down from that area. So if, you know, perhaps you want to show them, they probably have a lot more to say about such things.
And he takes that information and greets them and does his Rivendell-ish bow that he does to everyone that he meets. That's much out of place in a place like this, and says, "Well, I will be off, fine gentlemen. Thank you so much for such amazing information." And he heads off in that direction.
Did you hear that? He said we're amazing. Told you. Our hard work's going to pay off one day. People will start to notice, and they're just kind of jabbering back and forth to themselves as they make their way forward. Next, we're going to actually go to Faenor. So currently, you have made your way down to Snapfire Alley. Snapfire Alley, as I had mentioned, has a number of different kinds of places. So there's gambling halls, smaller taverns, things of the sort. Where would you like to be in Snapfire Alley?
Are there any like street performances or anything that are happening as I'm making my? I'll probably say I'll make my way towards probably one of the gambling halls.
Mm-hmm.
But is there anything I see along the way that like kind of catches my eye?
Street performances all the time. That's one thing that you have noticed. Imagine like trying to be like, I don't know, like Times Square or being like somewhere like real big, like the middle of Rome. I don't know. And the street performers that are always there, yeah, this is the place for them. So they're there, they're doing all kinds of things. One thing that you actually does catch your eye is there are a couple of individuals who look like they're doing fire breathing. They are dressed up as will look to be kind of this ramshackle leather Smaug outfit, and they're basically reenacting the fall of Smaug, but it's like a fire act. So they're putting it like all together, and it's pretty nice. You do notice that there are a number of individuals. Two of them look to be dwarves. One of them, the one who is dressed as Smaug, is clearly a human, and there is what look to be 3 small hobbits that are a part of this troop as well.
Okay. I'm gonna be like Faenor's going to watch this for a little while, probably enjoying their performance, and I'll probably like throw them like a copper coin.
Okay. You do so, and a number of people are, but they really have their eyes set on you as you are dead center, like right in the middle of enjoying this, and you just like, wow, this is amazing, and you're like clapping. You're the one who's like starting the clapping, and everyone kind of like follows behind, and they kind of lock eyes with you and like look suspiciously, but then they see that you toss a couple of coins, and they're like, oh yeah, and so like this begins to inspire them to work a little bit harder, to do their best.
I'm a supporter of the arts.
Yeah, over embellishing the things that they are doing. Not only is the person who plays Smaug, he is going, I am Smaug, the great and powerful. He's like, I am Smaug, the great and powerful. As he like throws fire in like every direction, doing all kinds of fun stuff that way. They seem to be now performing specifically for you, Faenor. The performance, they it's a very abridged version of the desolation of Smaug. But the performance comes to a close and everyone gathers, and a few individuals that are walking by toss coins. However, the one thing that you do see is maybe you notice this might not be the best place in order to do this, as a lot of people are holding tight to their pockets going into these gambling parlors. So, with that, what do you wish to do with these actors?
I'm assuming this is like the time, like the downtime between performances. And I can't say, that was a lovely performance. Do you do just the one, or do you do other ones throughout the day as well?
Well, you see, we do a few things. But this one is by far the most popular, the one we make the most coin off of. And then one of the hobbits are like, oh yeah, sure, of course. We actually do a couple of them. There's some good places from back in the Shire. We actually have, have you ever heard of the Great Tookish Battle? And then he's just like, one of the dwarves, he looks down at him. Oi, no one wants to hear anything about your Tookish battles. We've heard enough about that all. They're here to see the Great Smaug, the story of our people. And they're kind of like all like bickering a little bit amongst each other.
No. I would actually love to hear about the Tookish battles. I'm actually from the Mirkwood, just by Dale. I've heard the story of Smaug, but your performance was just absolutely transfixing. It just drew me in, so I felt like I couldn't help but watch.
Oh, you see, I tell you, the Turkish battles are something that's very interesting, especially to people out east here. They don't know anything about that. Ugh, fine, go ahead and tell them. Should we reenact it? And so they do. They reenact it. And so, like, the dwarves and the man, they play as actually the orcs as they beset upon the Shire. And basically the hobbits, they play the hobbits defending the Shire. And as they're fighting, you have one large, basically in a large outfit, one of the dwarfs come up, and he is dressed as one of the great hobbits, one of the Tooks, and he goes and he takes his basically his club and he whacks at it, and off pops the head of basically the helmet of this. And that is how the game of golf was made. Did you know that?
No, surely not. Sure.
Indeed,
Wow.
indeed. Yes.
I haven't actually encountered very many hobbits in my travels, but you seem like a fascinating folk.
Oh, we're a fine folk. We actually have really good appetites, you see. And this is actually the perfect place to come if you want appetites. I mean, the missing scale is always really nice and all, but there's all kinds of people that are there from... Let's just say, because of the crowds, the quality of food goes way down. So here at Snapfire Alley, this is the place to go if you want to find something delicious to eat.
Thank you. I'll keep that in mind. I'm going to
Indeed.
throw 'em another copper, and then why don't you all enjoy your day? Good luck with the performances.
Thank
And
you,
I'll
thank you
probably
very
make my
much.
way over to one of the gambling halls.
Perfect. You make your way inside, and this isn't as popular as you would assume. Maybe because it's 10:30 in the morning, but you could tell that most people have started making their way towards the center of town. Is there anything that you wish to experience, you wish to see while here?
I guess like nothing in particular. It's just going to be like going around trying to enjoy the sights. Like it's been a little while since Faenor's been in like a larger city, especially Dale. He's probably seen like different celebrations happen, but probably stuck out in the woods, out in the Mirkwood for a lot of it.
And
So just soaking up life and like getting used to the people around here again.
you do so, absolutely. And some of these traditions come back to you. You're familiar enough with them where you're like, but after being away for so long, they genuinely are coming back. Although the one thing that is constantly being harped on you is, why are you here? Why aren't you at the center of town? Make sure you get your butt to the center of town. There's lots of things going on, and there's like some people that you could tell are like kind of like dwarven cards dealers that are there that are just like, because you're here, I can't make my way over to the center of town. Can't shut this down while we have customers, at least paying customers. Things like that. They kind of like mutter under their breath, and so.
All right. Yeah, probably having the fill of the soaked in his fill of the sights, he probably would start making his way towards town. Probably walking past like places that he recognizes, places that he hasn't seen in a few years. Oh my god, they really redid this place. This is basically just a ruin last time I was here.
Absolutely.
Like walking by, it's like, yeah, like admiring how the city, even in the past year, would have been prospering from all the new trade and from being from under the tyranny of a dragon.
Absolutely.
Every year it just gets better.
Yeah, it
And
gets better and
considering
better.
I think it's been like 4 or 5 years since I've been around here. So
Absolutely. And a lot of rebuilding, one thing that you did notice is a lot of rebuilding has happened. And so while the entire city wasn't completely decimated, you can tell it was basically the teamwork of both dwarves and men, and actually of the elves of the woodland realm, that has basically everyone has banded together to rebuild this city. And this city is beautiful. Like, and not only is it completely reconstructed, but they refurbished the original like foundations and everything. This is dwarven craftsmanship, dwarven stone, so it doesn't weather over time, and that's something that you kind of take the time to be able to look at and experience as you make your way through town in Dale. So
okay, cool.
which then brings us to Theodric. You are in the center of town. It is bright and early, and it is around 10:30ish. News has spread that something is happening here at the beginning, opening to the beginning of these celebrations. Is there anything, Theodric, that you are specifically looking for? Is there any one in particular that you are trying to keep an eye out? just in case.
Not really. Right now, Theodric is just kind of stunned. He's never seen so many different kinds of people in one place.
Mm-hmm.
He's never seen so many people so celebrant and cheery. You know, the people of Rohana are very stern, very, very stern, very calm people.
Mm-hmm.
And seeing everybody, celebrating and cheering, and seeing all the, dwarves and elves and people from different countries is kind of blowing his mind right now.
Absolutely, absolutely. While you're here, I'm gonna actually have you make a perception check.
Okie dokie. Where do I roll that again? Perception. There we go. Did that send to you or no?
I am currently not looking at that. Did anyone else see
Okay.
the roll on your D&Ds?
I can look. I can look.
Or are you?
I can only see my own, so I don't know.
I would very much like somebody to be able to back me up on this, because I did get a nat 20.
Oh, I'm totally
Yeah,
fine
no,
with that.
yeah, it's fine.
I trust you, so don't worry. So-
But no, I got 21. I got a nat 20 plus
Yo,
my
let's
one in
freaking
perception.
go.
Yeah,
First
you-
nat 20.
Heck yes.
First and foremost, you looking at the people of the city, you stick out like a sore thumb. However, that actually works to your advantage, because as you walk by, people are turning their heads to look to this very fair, blonde-haired boy walking through the center of a bunch of brown, shaggy-haired people. And you kind of get a good look at everybody that from here and there. A couple faces that look quite interesting to you. The first of which being a elderly gentleman. This is someone who he kind of stands out a little bit himself, but you can tell that he has done his diligence to try to make himself look good. He kind of like looks around like nervously and kind of like chuckles to himself. He seems like he's like talking to someone like over his shoulder. Oh yeah, he looks like to see like he is talking to someone who's like over his shoulder, and he's pretty short in stature too. Yeah, he's got like kind of like this mangly like brown hair that's like flowing down over him, and his clothes themselves look like they have been kind of almost chewed through by some kind of rodents of some degree. He looks interesting. So that's one person that you can approach. Another person that you can actually approach is there are a pair of dwarves. One of them is really short with a very long beard, very white and kind of like flowing. Another one is actually very tall for a dwarf. You've seen your number of dwarves here. This one stands heads above them. And he is basically, both of them are standing kind of up towards the front by the front gate where King Dain is. Or not King Dain, King Bard, his mansion is. And they seem to be kind of scanning the crowd, both kind of chatting themselves up as they kind of watch around, waiting for something.
Okay. Theodric is going to approach the man.
Okay. So you do. How do you wish to address him?
Good morning, sir.
Oh, yes, what can I do for you?
He looks up for you, kind of like his eyes are very piercing, but he looks very curious and inquisitive at what you have to say, kind of jittering a little bit.
Peace, my friend. I mean no harm. I was wondering if you've seen any men of the Wilderland around here.
Men of Wilderland. I'm very familiar with those folk, you do know. Well, men of Wilderland. You see, this celebration doesn't tend to celebrate those who are part of the Woodmen. They weren't really part of these battles or anything like that. However, I think you found the right person to be able to talk to about such things. The name is Radagast,
And he holds out his hand, and his hand is very kind of like strong, and he's got like these gloves, and in kind of smeared on one of his gloves is bird poop.
Theodric will shake his hand anyway.
Okay, perfect.
Well met, Sir Radagast. I'm Theodric.
Ah, Theodric. Oh, you don't look like you're from around here. Let me guess. And then he begins muttering to himself, and he mutters over his shoulder again. Oh, yes, that's right. That's right. Rohan, right?
Correct.
Ah, you see, my old ways aren't completely out the window, that's for sure.
May I ask who you're talking to, sir?
Oh, this. And he kind of moves like his like raggedy hair a little bit, and a bird flutters out and onto his shoulder. Oh, this is just my friend here. He's my eyes when you see, I'm very short in stature, and so he's my eyes when we're here. So you might see him circling above. He's not looking at anyone in particular, but he's looking. Yes, looking. Ever watchful.
Fair enough.
Yes. How can I be of service?
I'm looking for somebody. Somebody wise. I'm not sure who.
Wise? That depends. What is your definition of wise? Some people say that the wise men, they sit in tall towers and, they gaze out upon, I personally believe that they maybe spend too much time with themselves, although maybe I'm not one to speak. There are those who are wise of the ways of the world, such as myself. I like to say that I'm very wise of the ways of the world, particularly of nature. And he kind of does his whole spiel, and he's just like, I've learned to talk to birds, I've learned to talk to animals. Some say it's magic, but, they'd be right.
Magic.
Magic indeed. And some would say that there are those who wander, those who make their way to and fro, place to place, and, I can't live that kind of life. I'm not quite a nomadic like that. But they do know the ways of the world, and they are well studious indeed. There are a number of us that, are part of the wise. I would say if you find an elf can be quite wise. A dwarf is also wise in their own way as well. And, the woodmen, they're wise in their own way. And you, Theodric, of the Rohirrim, I'm assuming you're pretty wise in your own way as well.
Possibly. I guess I'm mostly looking for somebody wise in the ways of magic, prophecy. I'm not sure.
Oh, prophecy. I've seen far too many of those to, Maybe you've come to the right place, perhaps. Meet me in a couple days' time. I have some business to do here, but, Theodric, Radagast, if you know where to find me, you don't need to go looking too far. I will be in the western quarter of town, usually around the missing scale every now and then, but who knows? I go with the wind, so they say.
Well, thank you very much, sir.
Yes, indeed. And enjoy the festivities. This is a joyous celebration, a great opportunity for you to be able to experience culture, experience lots of fun. We need fun in these days. And, some say if you're seeking wisdom, there's lots of wisdom to be had in having fun. Yes, indeed.
Okay. Well, thank you for that advice, sir.
Perfect. And with that, everyone has made their way into the center of town, as it were. All four of you have, in different areas, not all together, found yourself right in the middle. It is packed. It is shoulder-to-shoulder people. You see dwarves standing on each other's shoulders. People are lifting up hobbits like children. People are lifting up children to see what is going on. And basically everyone is facing this great luxurious palace, and with it the front gates. And slowly those gates begin to open as 11 a.m. begins to tick, and people listen eagerly, waiting for their king to speak.
I just want to ask, I'm only 5'2". Can I even see?
Absolutely.
Can I see over the crowd?
You can find somewhere to be able to stand where you'll be able to see. The nice thing about this area is it is built up towards the center, but having the palace on a hill. So it's still slightly at an incline, slightly. He kind of stands up above, and he is standing on kind of like a small little, not palanquin, but like little stage, as it were.
Thank God, I was worried a child would block my view.
Yeah, really. So the crowd gathers around the fountain commemorating the Smaug. In front of the royal palace, a procession of nobles and courtiers emerge from its great front gate, and is welcomed by cheers and shouts by all bystanders. The group is led by Dain, king under the mountain, and a trio of elven emissaries clad in green and gold. They are followed by the master of Lake Town, and last, King Bard makes his appearance, followed by his most trusted counselors, all archers who formerly served in his company when he was but a captain in Esgaroth. King Bard steps forward to address the crowd. His dwarf rock crown glitters in the light of many lanterns. His frame is as lean and hard as it was when he brought down the dragon. But this day, his gray eyes are alight with joy. "People of Wilderland," he shouts. "Years ago, we were strangers to each other as we hid in the shadows. We were afraid of a world where dragons ruled and orcs were free to plunder. Then, one day, our worst fears came to us and threatened to bury us forever. Together, with our weaknesses and worries." The crowd grows silent as an old man wrapped in a cloak and hood emerges from among the king's counselors and takes place by Bard's side. Bard continues his speech. "But then, the clouds that darkened our days were torn apart by the wind, and a red sunset slashed the west. We fought together at the Battle of the Five Armies, and we prevailed together. And today, we are here to testify that since that day, we stand united." And the crowd erupts in a cheer. The old man, he casts aside his hood and his cloak, raising a tall staff. Gandalf the Grey has come to Dale. Suddenly, the staff of the wizard blazes forth with a flash, and behind the royal palace, the sky over Dale erupts with the most magnificent fireworks. These fireworks are amazing. They light the day sky as if they were a part of the stars. The stars had come and pierced through the light of the day. Bright enough to illuminate the flanks of the mountain. Flowers and trees and candelabras and shooting stars, and then a flock of great golden eagles that burst like the dawn. And this is the beginning of the celebration, the gathering of the five armies. All of you do see this. Based off of what you've experienced, what you've seen here, you know a lot of these names and they're very notable to you. However, the one person that this is completely lost upon is Theodric. Theodric doesn't know who he's seeing. He knows that this guy's a king, so obviously he sees that. But everybody else, to some degree, look at awe at individual people. So, making his way to the center of town, Valineth, he looks and he sees what look to be elves of the woodland realm. There are 3 of them in particular. One of them has long golden hair, and he wears a crown upon his head, upon his brow. This crown is made of what looks like all kinds of twigs and branches, but very finely crafted, and they look old, very old. This man stares almost coldly out into the crowd, and on his left, there is a rather shorter elf, same golden long hair, dressed in this almost similar attire, but with a smaller crown upon his brow. And to the right, there is a woman, a female elf dressed in ranger's garb. She has reddish brown hair that falls down upon her shoulders, and she looks out as well. Theodric, your eyes are solely fixated on everybody that is here. One that looks very strange in particular is King Dain. You've never seen outside of your travels a dwarf in your time, but this dwarf is impressive. His presence alone sends everybody into a standstill shock. The dwarves that are there all bow. Even as King Bard speaks, their bows are directed towards Dain, not towards the King of Dale. This is interesting to you, and you wonder to yourself, should I bow, should I not? Jaylyn, you look up at, and you're fixated with the fireworks, but your eyes can't help but keep gazing at this wizard. People seem to know him for different reasons. A lot of people are cheering. He's got great fireworks. But he has some kind of importance. But compared to the splendor of all of the guests that are on this stage, this man, this old man, seems different. And Faenor, as you gaze upon the stage, you can only see what looks to be old comrades. Your eyes look at the king of the woodland realm, and a sense of longing fills your heart. Immediately, you look towards the king, King Bard himself. And with your note tucked in your pocket, you rub over. You've never met this man, but you can't help but think of questions. How the heck does he know who I am? And with that, King Bard announces, "Let the festivities begin. Enjoy, each and every one of you, a week of fortune, a week of glory, a week of basking in the victory that a united Wielderland has put together. We are all brothers and sisters here. Treat each other as such. Stand tall. Stand tall as the free folk of Wielderland, as the free peoples of Middle-earth. At the end of our festivities, there is a feast. Clearly, my palace cannot hold all of you, but there are a number of things that will allow you to be able to gain entry for those in the common masses. Trust me, I wish that all of you could join me at my table. But if you win, the winners, the runner-ups of these festivities may, just might, earn themselves a seat at the table. And on the last day, we will have a melee. And everyone's just like, oh, melee, what's this? This is new. Everything that is happening at this celebration, this is the first time this celebration is happening. So everyone's just curious. They're like, what? There's a man with kind of graying hair, almost white, standing next. It is a man dressed in what looks to be Dale Knight's attire. And he steps forward. Yes, a melee. We're the warriors that are here, the warriors that are present. You can form an alliance. Some of you may have come with fellow companions, but in this week you may find such companions to participate in this melee in. The winners of this melee will have a seat right next to King Bard himself. And everyone's just like, whoa, like, oh my gosh, like, this is amazing. Like, oohs and ahs, and you have... King Bard is a fan of the warriors. He's a fan of the common people. And while the great dragon, the great beast of our time, is slain, we are still in need of strong warriors, strong heroes here in this world. Darkness is ever out there. But let us dispel that darkness with this celebration, my lord. And he offers back over to King Bard. I couldn't have said it any better myself. To one, to all, enjoy what Dale has to offer. Reap its fruits. We have all earned it. And with that, the entire entourage of royalty depart back into the palace, and everybody is sent on their way. What are you all doing at this moment?
Well, I'm going to see if I can figure out how to sign up for this melee.
Absolutely. Keep that in the mind. Keep that in my mind. Okay. Anyone else? What are you guys doing at this moment?
Does anyone else have anything they want to do first?
No, go ahead. I'm thinking.
Yeah, I want to approach, if I can, the woodland elves that I saw.
Okay.
So like King Thranduil, and you said that there were others there that I might recognize?
2 others. You do recognize both of them, actually. And without any kind of checks, obviously you're from the Woodland Realm. You see one of them as Legolas, Prince of the Mirkwood Realm, and then the other one, Tariel, the leader of the Rangers of Mirkwood. You begin to approach. You make your way through the crowd. Everyone's ablaze and a bustle with excitement, especially about the melee. But there are a number of things you hear as you make your way through the crowd. People talking about, oh, I'm going to participate in the archery contest. For sure I'll get a seat at the table then. I can't maybe fare well in a melee, but I've got this. You hear other people. It's like, I hear there's a riddle competition that's happening. And then all kinds of stuff that are going on. You know, I hear there's even prizes for some of these things outside of just a seat at the table. But by the time, unfortunately, you make it to the gate, they have made their way into the palace and the gates have been barred.
Oh, good. All right. The things that I would probably do then, having not been able to speak to them, I know I'll get a chance again. I'm probably going to enter into these contests, but is the having a note basically inviting me already given me kind of permission to go to that dinner anyway?
So technically you have a seat at the table, absolutely. And so
Okay,
by
well then,
winning the melee,
yeah.
it doesn't necessarily give you anything, with the exception of what your invite does not give you is a seat right next to the royalty.
Well, Faenor, as the competitive lad that he is going to participate in every martial event that he can, be it archery, axe throwing, javelin throwing, the martial, anything he can do to like maybe win some coin or do like he knows his strengths. He's not going to go try and solve some riddle. He's just going to try and outpower whoever he can.
Absolutely.
As part of his training, I guess, for this martial contest as well.
Perfect.
I did have a question regarding the riddle contest. Is it going to be like based on the riddle check that our characters can do, or is it
Yes.
like, you just give us a riddle and we have to... Okay.
Yes, it is based off the riddle check. There are riddles that I will read to you. And if you can figure out by yourself, that's awesome. By passing the riddle checks, however, they give you hints onto what the answers could be. So I will give you hints to bring you closer to that. Does that make sense? So technically, you have to figure out the riddle yourself. And like, let's just say like a natural 20 is basically like, yeah, you know the riddle. You've heard this a million times.
I love riddles, so I would like to do that as well. Sorry for interrupting.
No worries, no worries. Anyone else?
Valineth, hearing about all of this wonderful action that's about to happen, he takes a different approach. He's like, oh, why, it's Hester's strength. Warriors may be here. So he's going to be on the lookout for like any of his fathers. He's going to be like maybe participating from like the backgrounds, but he's really going to be observing everything going on. So he's looking to hand pick the people he wants to join, in a sense. So he's not necessarily joining exactly, but he's going to hand pick for this melee that's bound to happen. Yeah, so that's
perfect.
What he's doing.
And Theodric.
Theodric has just like been like watching all this happen in wonder, and he's now kind of like, now that it's all died down and like King Bard and everyone's gone back inside the palace, he's looked down and realized he still has bird poop on his hand. So he's just quickly brushed that off. And the melee has definitely gotten his attention. It could be, you know, a good way for him to learn a bit more about himself. He's a little bit concerned that maybe he'll lose his cool during the melee like he did on his travels with Law. And are they going to do a joust? Are they going to be jousting?
So, there is actually. So, I will go ahead and as you make your way around town, the various things that you can participate in, each one of them, first and foremost is going to be the second night before, there is a masked ball. And so you have to purchase a mask in order to participate in such ball, but there's a dance competition that is at this ball. So that's one of them. Another challenge that you can participate in is as I had mentioned before, the challenge of riddles. There is a song contest, so that's going to require performance, so singing, that kind of stuff. There are also going to be, as far as like martial type things, challenges, there are going to be an archery contest. There is going to be a horse riding contest, which this horse riding contest is a contest of animal handling, as it were. So think of it as like a you're going to the showgrounds of like a fair, so something like that.
Are they
They're
providing like stock standard horses to make sure no one's got any performance enhanced beasts?
they are supplying horses to those who want. However, it is open to if you have a mount yourself to be able to use those.
Oh, cool! I'm gonna be the coolest, most fly guy there.
And then there is a contest of strength. And so what this is going to be your joust. And so this is essentially, it kind of just works how jousting normally is. Hit them in the midsection, that's a point. You hit them in the head, that's 2 points. And then you knock them off of their horse, that's 3 points. So that's going to be your contest of strength. And then I don't know if I mentioned, but contest of archery too. So there's that as well. So those are going to be your three martial
Just double
ones.
checking.
Mhm.
Archery, riddle, joust, master ball, song performance, horse riding contest, and the contest of strength is the horse riding contest.
No, the contest of strength is a joust.
Oh, sorry, yes.
Mhm.
But so contest of strength and the melee, that's all the things?
Yep, and the melee, that's everything.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it.
Excellent.
We're
do
not
we start with?
necessarily, for all of these things, we're not necessarily going to role play them out because that'll take flippin' forever to do. So basically, we can role play them a little bit, but they're going to be checks. So basically, we're going to do checks with flavor. That's how they're going to kind of make their way out. So if
I
you
love
have
that.
anything to say, boom, say it. Tell me what you're
Yeah.
doing, and then we'll go ahead and make a
So-
check.
I am just going to jump in first before anyone can talk over me.
Mhm.
I would like to do the riddles, the song contest,
Mhm.
and the melee.
Perfect. The riddles, song contest, melee. Like it. What-
I will also do the riddles of Valineth,
Perfect.
and the melee, obviously. So.
Perfect.
Theodric plans on doing the joust and the melee.
Perfect.
Oh, I'm sorry,
Uh,
archery as well for Valineth. I
Okay,
missed that.
perfect.
Let's try that.
I want to do the archery test. I'm going to go to the dance ball. I'm also going to do the horse riding contest and the joust and the melee. Like I said, smashing through all these things.
So one thing for those who, so it sounds like one is going to attempt to attend the ball. You will need to buy a mask. And so you're going to have to find and purchase a mask in order to become a part of this. Do you wish to still proceed? Buy a mask, spend some money, do that?
Yeah. Can
Cool.
I go? Can I see if I can find a white stag mask?
Absolutely. So I'm going to actually have you, before we do any of the challenges and before any of that, just to see if it's possible, go ahead and roll an investigation check for me. You're very keen on finding this mask, and I will say you don't have a problem finding mask vendors specifically because of this event.
Yeah. I got a 16.
16. You make your way actually to a like down. There's a couple dwarf sellers. One specific seller of his masks is very prideful, and these masks have like a gold filigree, and you can tell that like actual gold leaf has been placed on some of these masks. They look extraordinarily expensive, and actually the vast majority of the masks that you find look very expensive. You could tell this ball is not meant for someone who does not have the deep pockets to be able to do so. You do find what looks to be an elven kind of stand, and they do have a few masks for sale. A couple of them are deer. None of them are white stags per se. You could take a stag mask and attempt to paint it yourself white. That will require a few checks in order to do so, but yeah, you could do that. Okay.
I'd be down for that.
So-
I'd want to buy one of their stag masks and maybe haggle with them to see if they could paint it white for me.
Perfect. So,
if not, I'll paint it myself.
yep, you approach and you pick out the mask that you want. There's a couple deer masks. One's like a doe, one's a stag. So I'm assuming you're going to go for the one that's a stag.
Yeah.
Okay. Without getting too much into roleplay, the base set price for this is going to be 15 silver pennies.
Whoa, I do not have that. I am poor. Um, hmm.
And I will say, so in this game, shadow points can happen in a number of ways. One of the ways that you can gain points of shadow are things called misdeeds, which could potentially be excessive haggling. That's one of the misdeeds that you could potentially do. So you can't just keep haggling and haggling until the price gets lower.
Yeah.
There will be a point where they will be offended and you will gain points of shadow, and your reputation in the area will begin to go down. Just FYI, off the base, letting you know.
That makes sense. Yeah, I'm going to attempt to haggle with them.
Perfect.
To see if I can maybe trade them one of the hand axes that I made, along with the 5 silver, because I believe the axe heads I got were a few silver each, and with the handles that I've carved for them, hopefully see if I can get see how successful I am at doing that. I'll have to paint it myself, though, I'm assuming.
Perfect.
Like,
Yeah.
that's what Faenor would do, so...
Perfect. So you go ahead and you offer these things forward, and they take a look. Make a persuasion check for me as you do so.
Only a 5.
5. They look. You look to be one of our kindred. What are we to do with the weapons of man, the weapons of dwarves? We're much more keen on using spears, bows. You know so yourself. You have a couple equipped to yourself. These are no use to us. We will not budge on our price of 15 unless you have something better to offer.
It's a shame, but I believe that's all. I haven't got the funds to facilitate that, and my weapons are too dear to me.
Well, if you decide to change your mind, we do have a couple stocks of this mask that you are interested in. So it should be around for a couple of days, but our elf craftsmanship is of top quality. So if you do find a way to be able to come back and pay for such a mask, do so. We will be here. You know where to find us.
If I can deepen my coffers before then, I will surely return. It's such a fine mask.
Wonderful, wonderful indeed. So you make your way. We're going to go ahead and jump then into the very first competition. The very first one that actually is held place is done all the way at the broken scale. And this is going to be the riddle contest. And so we're going to go ahead and have both Jaylyn and Valineth. You make your way into the broken scale and you open the doors and boom, boom, kind of Aragorn-esque. Dun, dun, dun. No, not that epic. You make your way into the broken scale. And you kind of ask around where this is going to happen. And actually, they have cleared, specifically for this time block, the entire tavern of any normal guests, with the exception of people who, 1, are going to pay to watch, or 2, people who are going to participate. And so if anyone outside of Valineth or Jaylyn, so Faenor or Theodric, if you want to watch this, there is going to be a payment that needs to be made to come view it. Nope. You guys good?
I'm good.
Boring for the 2 slayers out there. I understand.
Yeah,
I got you.
So excited.
I know, right? It's where we shine, Jaylyn.
I love riddles because I've heard them all already, so I know all the answers.
We'll see. It's great.
Let's see with the dice test.
We'll see. And again, if you can answer the riddle just by yourself, I'm going to allow that too. Like, roleplay is, like, totally fine. Use your own wits about you. Like, if you know riddles, cool. But if not, you can also use the dice checks, and hopefully it's in your favor. So, riddles. So the riddle games are one of the most popular contests for the folk of Dale. The riddle game is held on this stage. And basically, it is meant for those with good wit and good charm, specifically good intelligence for riddle checks. And so there are going to be 3 total rounds of this. Basically, everybody who has entered this competition have to actually either answer the riddle or succeed on a check in order to, get the answer to this riddle. Those who make it on receive the second riddle. And so basically it's an elimination all the way until the final people. And there can be up to 3 individuals, as stated in the rules of this, that can actually win. So if 3 people get the riddle correct in the final riddle, all 3 of them win. It becomes more of a problem if there are more than 3 that have made it this far, but these riddles are designed so that's going to be very unlikely. But then there will be a riddle off to answer the riddles to see who can continue to stay. Kind of think spelling bee-esque. So it'll be good. But we're going to go ahead and begin. So a fat man of Dale, he makes his way. You can tell he is the bartender. He says, "Ahoy, the man. Everybody here, man, women, child, dwarf, hobbit, everybody from all over the lands. We are here to enter this competition of wit, this competition of riddle, and most importantly, this competition of competitions. For those of you who aren't so keen on fighting the brawn, we will fight the mind here." And everybody cheers and does, yes, this is great. He explains the rules, and we're going to go ahead and jump into the very first round. So the first riddle. "Though I run all day, I never tire, for my bed is hard and cold. And though you'll meet me on the plain, for my head is in the mountain, and if I breathe on you, think I am a fountain. Who am I?" I'm going to have all of you make a riddle check, or both of you make a riddle check.
Okay. I'm pretty sure I have a good idea of what it is.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm gonna be guessing this because I rolled a friggin' 6. So
Okay.
I know what it is though. I think. So.
Okay.
I rolled a
go ahead, wait.
17 total.
17 total. I'm going to actually have you, Valineth, type your answer into the chat. Spider, I'm going to leave it on to you, Jaylyn, to not look at this answer.
Okay.
I'm going to give you a clue, too. But first, I'm going to have Dain. Okay. So Valineth put his in. Don't look at the chat. Don't look at the chat. This is something that is flowing. Something that makes its way from north to south. From east to west. If you can be specific on your answer, more points to you. But if not, the points still go to you.
Can I hear the riddle again, please?
Yes. "Though I run all day, I never tire. From my bed is hard and cold. For my bed is hard and cold. And though you'll meet me on the plain, for my head is in the mountain. And if I breathe on you, you'll think I am a fountain. Who am I?"
Damn, I thought I knew what this was. I was thinking like. Damn it. So it's something to do with water.
Okay.
I was thinking a river
Okay.
specifically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's gonna be my final answer. It's gonna
A
be a
river.
river or something to do with water.
Perfect.
That's my best guess.
The answer to all of those who have joined us here, it looks like a few of you have made it past this first round. It seems some of you aren't quite as sharp as, one would hope participating in this. Oh well, more for the folk that know what they're talking about, more for the folk that understand the ways of the rittling tongue. For those of you who said a river, you would be correct. However, being from the eastern part of Middle-earth, the eastern part of the Mirkwood, we're talking about the river running. The one that goes from the Grey Mountains all the way down to the Long Lake, and down further, even south.
That's unfair. I don't know.
I
I
know that
don't
one.
know Lord of the Rings lore.
I am from Rivendell. Excuse me. How would I know?
Why are you doing such things? Of course you move on. I would have just been more impressed if you have given us more specifics to your answer.
Yeah, that would have been very impressive considering we're not local.
Yeah. Second one. So this is going to be a slightly higher DC tier check. But we're going to go ahead and read it. The more of them you take, the more you leave behind. What are they? Make your riddle checks for me.
No, I already know this one.
Okay, hold on. Before you
Good
do
on
so.
that one. I don't know it, but I got a 19.
Okay, before you do anything, what did you roll on yours, by the way, to see if you got any hints, Jaylyn?
Oh, I didn't roll. 'Cause I
Yeah.
already had it.
Roll your riddle just so.
Okay. Just so you know. Oh, it's a 4.
A 4. Okay, go ahead and type your answer in the chat before Valineth gets his hint.
I'm not looking.
Okay.
It is fun.
Awesome. So I'm gonna read it again to you first.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
more of them you take, the more you leave behind. What are they? Think of a journey. Think of a long journey. A journey with horse, a journey through foot. Walking here and there, to and fro.
The more of them you give, I have no freaking clue. Let me see. The more of them. Sorry, one more time. Can you read it one more time?
The more of them you take, the more you leave behind. What are they?
Take. So I'm thinking of either. Maybe like a trail of sorts.
Okay.
I don't like a wagon trail. Like if you, oh, you take. I'm just gonna go with that, like a trail of some sorts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because of your success in your what was it,
Did I get
19?
it wrong? Yeah, it was 19.
19, because of your success, you do find the correct word. So this is part of what it is. If you succeed by more than a certain, you get vaguely an idea. You get one last hint.
Okay.
Think less about the wheels that turn and more about the feet you tread.
Oh. Are they like foot track trails kind of thing?
Okay, is that your
Foot
final
track?
answer?
Yeah, foot tracks.
Okay. The answer is footprints. Both of you move forward to the final.
Oh, I
At this
didn't know that
point,
one.
at this point,
It's a good one.
it's a good one. At this point, there are a number. There are 6 individuals that are left, including Valineth, this elf. And Valineth, you look out and you see what look to be a dwarf, 2 men of Dale, a short-looking woman, and what looks to be, you can only assume is another dwarf, maybe a hobbit. You have no idea. He's really fat this way, so you see that.
Why, I have maintained fine company, I should say.
So this one,
Not so bad yourself, fine sir.
And does his little Rivendell bow to her?
and
I
finally,
bow from my chair.
we're on to our last and final round. Looks like we have 6 individuals before us. We have representation from elves, men, dwarves, and hobbits. Let's see who will take it all and who will join King Bard at the table. You bury me when I'm alive and dig me up when I die. What am I? Go ahead and make your riddle checks.
No, I got a 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Valineth,
I rolled a 13.
13.
You bury me when when you're alive, and you dig me up when you're
When
You're
I
dead?
when I die. So you bury me when I'm alive and dig me up when I die. What am I?
My parents.
Oh Lord!
Morbid.
A serial killer. That's what you do. Buffalo Bill
Oh,
from
you should
Council
put
Lands.
this in the chat. It's
Yeah, don't look at the chat, guys. Just don't be tempted. Eyes on me. Eyes on the camera.
Don't worry, I'm burying enough in the chat now. We'll eventually dig it up when it's dead.
You bury me when I'm alive, and you dig me up when I
When
die.
I die, what am I? Can't hear you, Jaylyn.
I know that was on purpose.
Oh, okay. I saw you talking, and I was like,
innermost thoughts.
mm.
I don't want to give any.
That's
hints
okay.
to the
That's okay.
competition.
You can mute yourself as you figure it out. I'm gonna give you guys 30 seconds to give me an answer.
The timer starts now.
Faenor just walking through the streets goes, "Oh my god!" and suddenly has a revelation of something. It's like, why did that come to mind? Never mind. Onwards. I was gonna check. What would I have rolled? Just for
10 seconds remaining.
Oh, I would have got it. Are we coming here often?
All right, answers. Hey, put your headphones on. Answers.
Okay.
You go
my
first, Jaylyn.
Okay, my best guess is some kind of plant.
Okay.
Yeah. Valineth was gonna say something like
What's
a name, like a family name of sorts, I guess.
Okay. And what were both of your rolls?
13.
13 into what?
I think I got a. It was like a 3 total.
3 total. So 13 into 3.
It's potato.
It could be. It could be. That's what I was
boiling.
thinking.
Everybody is sitting, looking puzzled, pondering upon this answer, and you could tell the barkeep is very pleased with himself. This is clearly something he came up with himself, or at least he thinks he did. Maybe he heard it from somewhere, but it's someone that's locked in his brain. And everyone's puzzled and like racking their brains. A couple of things come up. Someone says, facial hair. Another person says, I don't know, bones for my dog. And another one, and then all kinds of things. But one person walks away with the right answer. It is belonging to the young lady. A plant. You bury me when I'm alive, and you bring me up when I die. What am I?
Oh my gosh, nice.
And so, Jaylyn.
I thought for sure I was gonna get that one wrong.
So, Jaylyn, you are approached by this man, and he gives you a small sack. Don't spend it all in one place, young lady. But this is for you, along with, and he pulls out what looks to be a rolled up note. Your invitation to the club. Your invitation to the table on the last day of the festival. And inside your pouch, you can go ahead and add 10 silver pennies.
Let's go. Let's freaking go. Valineth walks over to her and in the very elvish, humble way, he tries to be humble at least, he sticks out his hand, he's like, a very hard-fought match, young missy. If my eyes don't deceive me, you're also from west of the Misty Mountains, aren't you?
Yeah, mate, your eyes don't deceive you, actually. Yeah, down from Breland.
Breland? Well, you went right through my hometown. I am from Rivendell myself. The name is Valineth. Pleased to make your acquaintance.
Pleased to make you's acquaintance. I dropped off one of my friends around that area.
Did you now?
Whereabouts did you leave?
Oh, I've been on the road for quite some time at this point. For the years of an elf, yet but a blink. However, for a few years at the very least, I've been. But I'm sure your friend is in good company. Rivendell is, of course, a haven for all who are weary. So they should be in great company.
Oh, well, I certainly hope so. Hey, did you want to grab a drink or something? I think I have a bit of time before the next contest starts.
Why, of course, drinks are on you.
I mean, I can afford it, eh, mates?
All right, that's.
And you do so. We're gonna move on to the next competition. Did we have anybody who is involved in the song contest?
Not me.
Jaylyn?
That was me, and I think I'm the only one that's interested in that.
Okay. because you have already gotten your bid to the table, you can do the song contest. I'm going to have you make a series of checks in order to see if you end up winning this contest. And so we're not going to role play it out as much as far as that going. But essentially, it is a singing contest. And so you must have proficiency in performance. I don't know if you have proficiency in performance. I'm assuming you do as a warden.
Oh, no, I don't have proficiency.
Okay, so this is not going to be something that you can participate in, actually.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's okay.
And then we're gonna go ahead and jump to archery.
A. I believe I'm the only
Yeah,
one.
no,
Oh, A.
I'm
Faenor.
there as well.
Yo,
Alright.
let's
Yeah.
freaking go. The elves.
Yeah.
All right.
The elves.
Jaylyn
Let's go.
and Theodric, have you made your way down looking towards this, or are you interested in doing anything else? So each of these competitions don't happen at the same time. If anything, they actually all happen on different days. And so the first day was the riddle competition. The second day was going to be the song competition. The third day is going to be your archery competition. Fourth day is horse riding. Fifth day is your test of strength, so the joust. And then the sixth day is the ball, so the ballroom dance. And then the seventh day is the melee.
Okay.
Okay.
I would definitely want to go and watch the archery contest because in support of my new best bud, Valineth.
Perfect.
Uh,
Theodric.
Theodric is curious, and yeah, there's nothing much better to do, so he's gonna go have a look as well.
All right, you two wander your way down to... Basically, this is actually set up outside of Dale. So you make your way south a little bit, and it is this archery ring. It's very beautiful. You can see basically out onto the long lake, and Esgaroth is basically right out the middle of it. It's beautiful, wonderful city. And at the light of the day, this is kind of a mountainous course, and so think of it as kind of a kind of like frisbee golf, if you've ever done that. Like you start at like the top of the mountain and then you kind of like shoot like far over a distance. And so it's not just your traditional, you shoot at a target and you hit. You're shooting at targets, big targets, but it's over pretty long distances and there's actually a drop. And so the range of your bows, it's just within range of a short bow.
No,
But
just
because
to clarify, we've just walked in. We've just gone south. You said.
yes, just
into the woods?
south.
Yeah.
Not into the woods. There's not woods. But they're basically it's like a mountain step that makes its way down. Basically into the side of the lonely mountain. There's kind of this.
Cool.
You start kind of at the top and you're shooting downwards. So cool. Awesome. So you step up and there is a number of people who are wishing to participate. In this one, actually, there are 6 people who have stepped up to participate. One of them being Valineth, the elf. Another one is going to be a woman from Esgaroth, a woman of the Long Lake. Her name is Galia, and she has a bow. And rumor has actually spread that this woman is to be the favorite of this competition, as she is an expert, basically archerer at the guild. In this, there is only 2 people who can walk away with a seat at the table, not the 3 that was in the riddles. And so only the top 2 scores are going to be able to make it and move on. But Galia is the other one. There are a number of other individuals as well that are part of this. Finally, we have Faenor, who is a woodland elf. There's actually another woodland elf. You don't recognize him as he is far, far older than you, and you probably haven't done that. But he looks like he's, pretty comfortable around a bow. And everybody is wielding short bows. So there's nobody with an advantage of a great bow. FYI. So we're going to go ahead and begin. You make your way out. It is late morning. And actually, this is really nice. There's a cool breeze that has made its way up from the lake. And this is actually one of the warmer days in the end of November. And so the sunshine on your face is quite wonderful. I'm going to have actually both Faenor and Valineth go ahead and make a wisdom surviving or a wisdom saving throw.
Seven.
7.
That's not good. Oh, it's 10. It's not horrible.
Okay. You feel this, and the
Oh, wait. I'm sorry. I rolled just like a normal wisdom throw.
your wisdom saving throw. Wisdom
Saving throw. Sorry. Ooh. Nat 1 for a 6.
Sweet.
Holy crap.
Yeah. So you stand atop this beautiful mountain. As you look down into the vistas, you can see off in the distance what look to be small targets. It seems that there were a lot more people who had come here in order to participate, but a lot of them dropped out, seeing such small targets off in the distance. You 6 are the last remaining of these. The crowd has gathered, which includes Theodric, which includes Jaylyn. Jaylyn has made her way kind of to the front by the railings, and Theodric stands proudly above the rest of the crowd as he is back further, looking down to see who might have the better shot. We're going to go ahead and make our first check. And so each person is going to have their own chance in the round. This is going to be similar to the riddle check. It's going to be 3 checks, basically with a DC. These are going to be wisdom perception checks that you're going to be making in order to do that. And with that, there's DC, and they get harder if you fail it, you are automatically disqualified. If you pass, you move on to the next round. Does that make sense?
Okay, so we're rolling not attacks, but wisdom perception.
Wisdom perception checks.
Okay, all right, cool.
I guess that's a slightly lower modifier than what I would have.
Perfect. So we're going to actually start with Valineth. You make your way up. Actually, no. I'm going to have you each roll 1d6 for me to determine the order of what's going on.
5.
1.
1. Okay, and then this last girl, I'm going to just roll for Galia.
Want me to roll for the other person?
She got 3. No, it's fine. We don't need to worry about the NPCs. Come on now. No.
They don't have names.
3. So she got a 3. So Valineth, you get to choose which order. Do you want to go at the beginning, at the end, or in the middle?
I want to go smack dab in the middle because he wants to observe.
Okay. Galia, she's going to choose to go very first. Faenor, what position would you like to take? Second, 4th, 5th, or 6th?
I reckon I'll go dead last. I'll go 6th.
Nice.
Okay,
nice.
perfect. And so the very first one is Galia. She's going to go ahead and make her check, which is a perception check. Let me pull up her stat block here real quick. All right. And so she is going to fire. And as she fires out, the arrow leaves her bow. It sails far into the distance, so far where you can almost not even see it as it begins to fall. Thunk, right into the ground. It falls just short of the target. Basically, what ends up happening is if enough people miss the target, there has to be at least 3 people who go. There's going to be reshots. And so she misses her first target, which then brings a couple others. So the second man, one of the men from Dale, he steps up, he knocks his bow, boom, he lets his arrow fly, sails far out among, thunk, bullseye right in the middle of the target with a natural 20. He does that. Everybody cheers. Even, the favorite, she looks at him and is just like, what the frick? Like, he's just like, beginner's luck. And then, which brings up Valineth.
Yeah, so he is going to roll. And it's a natural 1.
Natural 1. Valineth, nervous. He saw that natural 20. He pulls his bow. He knocks it, shaking. He shoots. It shoots off in a random direction as the crowd ducks in fear. Valineth, you look at everybody. You hang your head, and you make your way off to the side.
2 in a row, guys.
We have more.
Oh, sad day.
So a wood elf woman by the name of Lila, she makes her way up, and she's going to go ahead and knock her bow and make it. Boom! She shoots. This one, the trajectory is a little bit wobbly as it just moves in the breeze. It has plenty of power, though. It just overshoots the target. She does not make it. The next one is a wood elf man by the name of Ithelad. He steps up, he fires. He completely misses the target. Which brings us finally to Faenor.
I love that it's gonna be a definite reshoot because only one person's made it, but woo, let's go!
I'm fine
We
with
believe
that.
in you. We believe in you, Faenor.
I got a 19.
19.
Yo, let's go.
You sail.
Go.
Your eyes narrow. It hits. In the middle of the target, just up. Not dead center, but just up. This is a beautiful shot. Meaning, this brings a reshoot.
Sweet.
I'm going to have you roll a d4, Valineth.
That is a 1.
All right. So Jordik, who is the man of the bard man, he is going to say he wants to shoot first. Lila, she is going to step up second. She decides to shoot dead last. And then Valineth, you actually ended up tying. What is your dex score, essentially? Or, yeah, dex score.
My dex is a 14.
14. So you end up with that 14. You actually get to decide next. Do you want to go which middle spot? Second?
I'll
or
go
third?
second. I'll go second.
Okay.
Get it out of the way.
Perfect.
His nerves are hopefully done.
So first shot by Jordik. He gets a natural 1. And
Yo,
he
let's go.
fails and just snaps, and actually his bow itself ends up snapping.
Oh,
It's bad. It's tragic. You get up there seeing like, okay, I'm not the only one. Valineth, it is your turn.
All right.
Real
Not
quick, can
great.
I yell some words of inspiration from the crowd?
100% before you shoot.
Okay.
Come on, mate, you got this!
You gain
Pump some stuff up.
inspiration. So what is that, a D4?
I am not sure. I didn't look it up.
I think because of her bardic inspiration, as it were, I think it's an additional D4 to your roll.
And isn't it that you can add it after you know the result?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I already
Yeah.
rolled the result, so I'm glad that that's the case. So I gotta roll it. Not that it was bad, but
It is a D6.
Oh, D6. So you get a add
go.
D6 to it.
Oops. Let's do that. All right.
Already has a +5.
+6. Yo, let's go.
Jesus.
Well, it's good because he
Yay!
rolled an 11. So what is that? A 17?
17. You shoot.
The
A
hell.
little bit
Thank you,
more.
Jaylyn.
A little bit more confidence wells up inside you, and it wobbles, but then begins to sail true. Boom! You hit the target in the second ring.
Thank you, Jaylyn. That was very kind words that you gave me. And he gives her a
On
thumbs
your
up.
mate!
So
And
we have 3
like,
qualifiers already. 2 more to go. And so Lila, she goes ahead and she comes up. And with a 17, she hits right next to Valineth and his target. And then Ithelad, he comes up, the final guy. He shoots, and he rolls an 8, and he fails. The 4 moving on are going to be Ilya, Valineth, Jordik, not Jordik, Ilya, Valineth, Faenor, and Gallia. Oh no, Gallia still has to shoot.
Oh, he's gonna
She
fail.
got her nat 1.
Oh, yeah.
She still has to shoot. She goes up, and she actually gets another nat 1. So she, she's out of it. So there's 3 that move on, so that's good. So it's going to be Ilya. The favorite is out, so it's going to be Ilya, Faenor, and Valineth for round 2.
Faenor, as we're like stepping up, it's like, it's nice to see that you got over your nerves towards like Valineth.
Oh,
You know,
why?
mighty fine shooting.
So, quick question for the lore master: does his age show? As an elf, would I know that he's a pup? He's a young pup.
No. So you can kind of tell by the way he speaks that he is young. But he looks rather odd. His short hair kind of throws you for a loop.
Yeah.
But
I am not dressed in any traditional elven attire. It's just like, it's not like mismatched, but I'm very travel worn and probably more similar to clothes you've seen like men and dwarves wear.
there you go.
Yeah, and Valineth calls over to him. Well, I am just lucky to call myself in fine company, young one, and you know, just be doing his platitudes, his elven platitudes that he does. So.
Perfect.
Well, let's hope your old age doesn't catch up to you before the before the event finishes.
Why, I mind you, my young pup, I am only 700 and say he gets a little riled up a little bit.
She and then Lila, as another elf of the woodland realm, she steps in. Boys, why don't we calm down? Let's settle this with a contest of bows. Let's take aim. And with this next one, there's a second target. This one is in a slightly more difficult position. And so thus it's going to be harder. It's not necessarily further, but it's the direction of it and kind of the way you have to aim it because of maybe some possible things that are in the way that you might need to avoid. You can tell like you have to shoot like through a couple like bushes. It's not a completely seeable target, so it makes it a little bit rough. Go ahead and roll d4s for me, the two of you.
And Valineth, as this is going on, is gonna say over to Faenor, I apologize for letting my composure slip. Yes, may the better elf win.
Thanks for the
Meanwhile-
encouragement. I'll sure to take it with me to the victory podium.
All right.
Meanwhile, Jaylyn's just screaming from the stands, Smaug!
I rolled a 2.
Okay.
You have a very avid supporter in the crowd.
I guess she is quite a fiery one. Very good at riddles. I do say.
Faenor.
She kind of disappears into the crowd.
A little bit.
I rolled a 1.
1, okay. And so, Lila, she's going to go ahead and step forward as she's going to say, I wish to go second. Valineth.
I'm first?
No, you can choose to go first or last.
Oh, if you're not first, you're last, so we're going first.
And then Faenor, you're going to be last. So, Valineth, you step up. You kind of look at your target. What do your elf eyes see? You see the target.
They're taking the Habits to Isengard, and I shoot.
Okay. Go ahead and make your perception check.
Oh, 23.
23. You've narrowed in. You've seen those Isengard Uruk-hai running, and you clip their heels, and the hobbits come falling off their back. Yeah, you hit the target nearly dead center, but just to the left of dead center. Still
Here's
in
an
the
18,
bullseye.
by the way.
Still in the bullseye, but just to the left. Which then brings us to Lila. She's going to go ahead and make her shot. So she shoots. It cuts through the brush in the wilderness, making its way towards the target. However, a stray branch hits her arrow and it knocks it off its mark, and it falls clattering to the ground. Disappointed, she turns back. No offense, but I hope you missed this. A reshoot would be well advised by me. No pressure. Faenor,
I'm
you
just
make
not
your
going to
way.
say anything. Just walk up. Let's go.
Pumping up his chest a little bit, Valineth.
And they are 13.
13.
Pretty good.
Similarly, you make your way through the brush, and you do end up missing the target completely. So it is going to be another reroll. Go ahead and roll a d4 for me.
Oh, the sun was in my eyes.
Ah, yes.
What do you want me to do, Astrid? Block out the sun? I can do that.
I'm sure the sun was in your eyes as well. It's a dreadful angle.
You know, some would say that my presence alone inspires treachery in the hearts of men, but I didn't think elves as well. What was your roll of your d4?
A 1.
1. She's gonna say, "Gentlemen first," as you step up to the make your second shot.
4.
4. You shoot out, boom, and it misses. Well, let's see if I can do you one better. And with a natural 20,
Yo.
she...
Look, that's funny because I got a nat 1.
Oh, really? So this is actually important. In this game, like, natural numbers make a difference. So tell me if you get a nat 1 regardless of what... You could tell me nat 1 and then whatever the final total is. Just FYI. But she hits dead center. Just needed a warm-up. Looks like it's just the two of us. A high elf of Imladris against a wood elf. This should be fun. And you make your way to the final round, the final two. Valineth facing off against Lila. Faenor, do you have anything to say?
Knock her dead. And I give like Valineth a slap on the back as I'm walking past.
Valineth kind of taken aback by the unpleasantries that he's not used to from.
Yeah, it's like a hearty slap too. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a hearty pat, like you'd give a dwarf.
Yeah. Wow. We got some rowdy folk here. I kind of like it. It's very exciting. I'll do my best.
And Lila, she says, "Well, Valineth of Imladris, it seems the two of us have already earned a seat at King Bard's table. But may the better elf win and walk away with the prized treasures."
Oh, I don't believe in better. I think this is more of a shoot of luck at this point.
Indeed. And she kind of scoffs at that.
Can I in the back go, I agree, my luck was just off today.
Well, shall we? And then you make your way to the final target. The entire group, it's kind of like golf where everybody has to walk to kind of the next hole, the next target. As everyone walks, including the crowd, you make your way further a little bit up the mountain. And this is actually a further shot. It doesn't quite have the density of things that you could potentially hit, so it's pretty wide open, but it is further. And so each of your shots, unless I'm going to basically say you have to make some kind of courage check, so a wisdom saving throw. If you fail it, your shot's going to be a disadvantage. If you succeed in it, it's going to be made normally. If you critically succeed, you're going to have advantage on your shot. Each of you are going to be making these, but first I'm going to have you make a d4 roll for me.
That is a 3.
3. So you step up. My lord, elf lord, as it were. First or second?
Why, I am a man of, I am an elf of Rivendell, and that means, ladies first.
Gentlemen here are few and far in between, even amongst my people. And she kind of glares back at Faenor.
And then I look back at Faenor like, see what I did? I showed her.
I give like a shaky thumbs up, like, yeah.
She goes ahead and she first makes her wisdom saving throw, to which she looks at it, and you can tell that there's a little bit of a quiver in her gaze. And she sets up, not maybe as impressively or as confident as you might think, as she looses her bow. She's way off the mark. She shoots, and actually to the point where it doesn't even come close to making the quite range in order to hit this, and it just lands it to the ground, probably a few like 100 yards, not yards, 100 feet short. Again, this is like down a mountain. I know there's like maximum range of these, but so like you're kind of when it's breaking, so like a few 100 feet short. Valineth, it is your turn.
Saving throw first.
Saving throw first.
That's pretty good. It's a 22.
22, not nat 20.
Not nat 20. It was a 17.
Okay, you're gonna make this shot normally, not disadvantage.
Okay.
So the way that this is going to work is there is a DC to actually hit the target. There's going to be 3 rounds, and then basically there's going to be a shoot-off. And so the highest roll of that shoot-off is going to end up winning this.
Okay. Okay, I'll roll. Oof. That's an 8.
8. In similar fashion, your arrow falls to the side, just to the left of it. Closer, but just to the left. go ahead and roll. You're gonna actually keep your same line. So it's gonna be she shoots, you shoot, she shoots, you shoot. She steps up with her second arrow. She nocks it. She's still shaken. She begins to shoot. She misses.
Sweet.
Valineth. Hers is closer this time. Kind of akin to the last shot that you had, but not quite on the target.
That's a 17.
17. You loose your arrow. It soars. It flies. Boom!
Let's go.
Right on the very, very corner of the target.
What is the DC of this thing?
You hit the target, and Valineth of Imladris of Rivendell has won. A cheer goes up. Woo! Everyone is just.
Huzzah!
You look baffled at the crowd. What is going on?
I am. I don't know what's going on. I said it was luck. That's what I said.
I run up and I punch him in the arm like, yeah, good job, lad.
I just give him like a full-on bear hug and try and lift it up, but I am very short and
Make
very
an athletics
weak, so it
check for me,
doesn't go the
Jaylyn.
way I want.
He's dainty. He's tall but dainty.
Make an
How
athletics check
tall
for me,
is
Jaylyn.
Valineth?
I think he's like 6 foot, so he's pretty tall.
Yeah, he's way
I'm
taller than
I'm
me, though.
5'2", so I'm like
You've
under
got
your
2
chin,
inches
kinda
on me.
high.
Yeah.
You've got 2 inches.
But
Jaylyn
by
is
the way,
5 foot
Australian,
two.
I am loving this comment. The biggest joke in sports since Shooter began. I just picture Theodric just looking like, oh, these elves, they seem to know what they're doing, but
He's just been watching that. He doesn't know about archery. He doesn't really. He's just like. Okay.
if anything, you're just like, you're looking, it's like, did they hit? It's kind of like how me playing golf without my glasses. I'm like,
Yeah.
where the heck did my ball go?
Yeah, his human eyes aren't. He's like.
They loose the arrow and he's like, where to go?
In his mind, the elves are already at Isengard.
Yep, that's true.
Yeah.
All right.
Uh,
So you go ahead, and he goes ahead, and he drops into your hand a sack of coins. In addition to both you and Lila, invitations to the dinner. And in that sack, you open it up, and you receive 12 silver pennies.
Sweet. And you know what? Because the gentleman that he is, he's going to go and give a silver penny to each of the participants and said, well met, well met. Great job to all. So how many is that?
Remove 5.
And to Faenor, because he was in the finals as well, technically, I give him 2. So,
Technically, he was not in the finals, but
well, the one before the finals.
yeah.
The
So-
semi-final.
and then Lila, she's just sitting there like, why does he get an extra one?
Oh, did she get one too? I'll give her 2 extra. I'll give her 2 as well.
She
And wink at her.
run
at the
away
same time.
all of your money. Whoa. Wink.
In the
That's
most
big.
in the most
Big.
friendly way possible, because he also winks at Faenor. So
This sounds a little bit like Yuki. Yuki coming through.
that's
Sorry,
true. I'm
Everlast
sorry.
character.
It is, yeah.
Awesome.
Little
And
bit.
so that's going to happen, which then brings us to the next day, which the next day is going to be the horse riding competition. So
Yes.
who is going to be a part of this?
Faenor, definitely.
And Theodric.
Yeah,
I
Faenor
can't
and
wait
Theodric.
to see freaking brown horse.
You make
And we'll be
At the-
cheering on from the sidelines.
Yeah.
At the beginning of like everyone gathering this event, can I just blow my whistle?
Yes, and so okay, we'll set the stage real quick. And so this is actually set further south of the city. So this is closer down to more flat land. It's actually an open expanse that is used for horse riding, primarily to train the horses and the riders, the knights basically of Dale, as they are horseback combatants as well. And so this has been set up in a way where there's all kinds of obstacles, all kinds of things that you have to do. Essentially what this is how does your steed behave, and also how basically how athletic are they? And so grace and athleticism is really good, really important here. And so these are going to be wisdom and animal handling checks, as it were. This horse riding, there is a man. He looks a little bit rugged. but he makes his way forward. He has a spear draped upon his back, and he's got disheveled hair, but he has a very noble jaw. This is clearly a man from the Dalelands. You don't know if he's from Dale, but he is the clear favorite, and his name is Elstan. And he sits upon a basically like a kind of a blondish steed, and the steed itself is in a kind of ornate-looking leather armor, kind of. It's kind of barding, but more ornamental than anything. And people are like, Elstan! 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 You could tell he has some loyal followers in this crowd. The next, we're going to have Theodric. So how are you bringing your horse to the table? Oh, and basically he introduces himself. I am Elstan. So basically you have to introduce. I am Elstan, and here is my lovely companion. One that has been with me through the ages, at least through the years. We have gone through so much together, and she is known as the Blonde Maiden. And everyone's just like, the Blonde Maiden, woo! And people are excited. Theodric, you come in. Very young lad makes his way down into the horse riding field. Oh, by the way, Jaylyn, Valineth, are you watching?
Oh, heck yes.
Yeah, okay, so I was gonna
Can I say I met up with them on the way there?
Sure,
Oh, yeah,
absolutely.
Like, I
Like,
ran
we
into
all
you.
went drinking last night because you did arrows and you passed the vibe check, and now we're cheering you on because you deserve a win, man.
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll let Theodric introduce, but then I'll.
So, yeah, really quick. Jaylyn turns to Valineth. Right, so we're the cheer squad for Faenor. So our job is to be louder than all of those people cheering on the other contestants.
Oh, why? I'll do my best, young one. However, I'm not much of a cheerer, but I am very good at giving side commentary.
It's an anime. I picture like in the crowd, it's just like, oh, what's happening? Everything's slow motion, and then an entire thought process, an entire episode goes by with just
I
one
see.
thought.
His horse, in a split second, it decided to do a triple backflip.
That is
I can
actually
only
very
do that
accurate to
because
the
of ancient
D&D
heritage.
experience.
That's true. But Theodric, you make your way down onto the field. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Theodric is not very impressed by what was his name? Estrid?
Elfstan.
Elfstan. That was it. He is not very impressed, like by his boasting and he's just kind of put off it. Theodric just kind of walks out and he's just leading Baradarok very casually, very calmly, and he's just like, "I'm Theodric of Rohan, and this is Baradarok," and that's it. That's it.
I
He's
turn
good.
to Valineth and go, "It's a rather strange name for a horse, don't you think?"
Huh?
Do we lose you, Valineth?
I'm here.
I said,
He wasn't paying attention.
Faenor leans
Oh,
over
are
to Valineth saying,
you saying this
That's
to
a-
me? Oh, I'm
yeah.
sorry. Yeah.
it's rather a strange name for a I guess it is fitting. He is awfully brown.
Name? I thought you were just describing him. Wait. Is that his name?
Yeah, it's in
Barada?
Cinder. Most people here speak the common tongue, not Sindarian. So I'm
I
assuming
got
it's
no
his
clue
name.
what you guys are talking about. So, clue me in maybe?
Let me
Uh,
explain, Jaylyn. So,
Okay, got it.
Brodarok means brown horse in our language, Sindarin. And you know what? It is a mighty fine brown horse out there. Yeah, I think it must be a mistake. I think they're just calling him by his description.
I mean, I can confirm it is a horse and it is brown.
Well, I must head out there.
But this
Also,
horse, so
uh,
Theodric, you make your way out there, and while you're young in stature, the horse speaks for itself. This horse makes you look good. This is a very well kept horse. This is not just a horse, a wild horse that has been tamed. This is not just a rental horse. This is a horse of Rohan. This is a horse of the riders, legendary. And everyone looks to you and they see the Golden Maiden, but then they see Baradarok, and they're just like, maybe we're questioning this. This horse looks like it's made of different stuff.
Yes.
Hey, Jaylyn, Valineth. Those two horses are impressive, but you want to see something that most people don't get to see?
And then Valineth turns away and is like, "Not here, my good sir. Not here."
I would
Whoa,
love to see it.
whoa, Jesus, no, I'm not so uncouth that I would do that in public.
I don't
What?
know.
Whoa, had standards.
Based what I learned from you last
What kind
night,
of
my good
people are
friend.
you hanging out with?
Yeah, Valineth. What kind of people are you hanging out with?
Go.
I don't know what company I keep these days. It is a mystery to me as well.
I'm gonna start stretching and I start making my way over with like obviously no steed with me.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of like.
I kind of picture you doing like the Monty Python coconuts as you just.
I'm like, yeah, turn to the crowd. Yeah. Oh no, but then I'm like, kind of giving a nod to Valineth and Jaylyn, blow into my whistle.
And you do. This is almost a silent whistle. Very, very high pitched. Only those that are young and spry can actually hear this whistle. And technically, Valineth, you're considered young and spry. Actually, everybody, all of you can hear this whistle. And then in the horizon, this beautiful white stag just comes galloping. Antlers piercing the light. You actually notice in the crowd, Valineth and Jaylyn. You look around, and there are a number of woodland elves, and all of them, their jaws drop. How are you both going to react to this?
Well, would Valineth know about the culture of the woodland elves and such things that these are rare
Make a
creatures?
lore check.
As I'm doing that, feel free, Jaylyn, react.
Looks like a pretty stag.
It does look like a pretty stag.
I mean, she's impressed, but she doesn't know like how impressive it is. I imagine.
Okay, so lore, you said?
Mhm.
Sorry.
She's probably just like cheering on from the sidelines, going crazy.
Ooh. 18 plus 2, 20.
20. You know, these are actually horses that are sacred to the woodland elves and are found only in Mirkwood. They're very rare, and the most famous one, King Thranduil, had rode into battle during the Battle of the Five Armies. And actually, that is the impression that you're getting from around. People think King Thranduil's steed is coming to the aid of Faenor. But alas, as his steed makes his way closer, it in fact is not. It is a much younger steed, a little bit smaller in build. However, it is still all the same. One of the White Hearts, or the Nimaros, which is the Sindarin term for Mirkwood white stag.
And Valineth turns to Jaylyn, and he says, "Well, that is quite the impressive stag he has there, but I still got my money on that brown horse."
Come on, you can't say that. It was supposed to be his cheer squad.
That's why I'm whispering it. I'll still cheer.
I just bap him away annoyingly.
Privately, he's not rooting for me, but he'll be very vocal for me.
Oh, I am rooting. Trust me, I am rooting. I just don't think you're gonna win. That brown horse is very majestic.
Faenor, how are you introducing?
I am Faenor the Lacduin, and this is my dear friend Nympharian. And as he's come up, I've kind of like picked up some of like the dry grass on the ground. I'm kind of like rubbing it along like his like flanks, like along the side of him, giving him a bit of a scratch as we're like waiting.
All the horses are ready. Actually, Nympharion is the couple sniffs, but he is quite silent. You could tell Baradarok, however, is very excited for this. You hear a spit everywhere. And he just begs you to go on. He almost bends down on a knee as he invites you to jump on. You can tell that Nympharion has not quite as much experience with you as a trainer, Faenor. However, it does kind of bow its head as you jump on. You do not have any kind of saddle or barding or anything on this majestic beast. And
that was how I wanted it. Yeah.
Perfect. And immediately, as Elstan, he looks over, he says, "My lords, my ladies, this is not a horse. Is this allowed?" And he looks around to see if there's anyone that says any otherwise. There's a couple like judges that are just like, Well, this says steed, right? The steed riding competition, so I guess that's okay. And he's just like blah, 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 grumbling. There are only the three of you that are competing in this. Basically, with Elstan being there, everybody else chickened out. And there is only going to be one basically seat that is going to be available with this based on the amount of participants.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead. I'm going to have you each roll a d4 for me.
I got a 3.
A 3. Okay.
I got a 3 as well.
3. All right. What's both of your dexterity stats for me?
My dex is 12.
Mine's a 14.
14.
So I get a +2.
So Faenor, you can choose to go first, second, or third.
I might try to go first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Second or third, Theodric.
Second.
Perfect. And then, which basically leaves Elstan to be third. This competition, this first round, essentially what it is a spear throwing competition off on the top of your horse. And so this is all animal handling, but this one is going to be how can you basically ride your steed into battle while throwing spears. So these are going to be animal handling checks. But essentially only 2 can pass this. So the 2 highest rolls are going to go. There's not a DC for this. So go ahead. First things first. Who do we have? Was that Faenor?
Faenor, yeah.
Faenor, go ahead. So you mount your steed, your stag. Go ahead and make your animal handling.
A 22.
22. You ride gracefully. The nights that you've been out with him, you have not only just ridden and considered the things that you have to do, your lost companions, but you are training in the process of this, and this has brought you to this very moment. As you take your spear riding, you chuck it, and it hits just left of center. Easy target hit. Next, we're gonna go ahead and have Theodric.
Okay.
So animal handling for me.
Oh, that is a bad roll. That is an 8.
8. So getting up atop Barada Rock, you have never actually been in competition before. And so you ride him, you go, you hit it, but on the very outside. You're probably throwing these about 30 feet from your horse, but where your steeds. But this one does hit, but just in the corner of it. Which then brings Elstan. The crowd roars, "The Golden Maiden! Elstan! Golden Maiden!" And he's going to go ahead and attempt his roll. And he rolls a 7.
Hey.
Boom! He throws it, and it's just outside of where Theodric does. Elstan is eliminated. Which means, and actually riding off in a huff, Elstan is like, "This is freaking stags. They're not should be
It's
allowed."
Valineth
I
commentating
hear all
this.
the way.
It's
All
Valineth
the
like
way.
commentating on like the...
Read chat.
Yes, he is
Oh,
in the
okay,
chat.
cool, yeah. Oh, okay, yep. Oh, there's a lot going on.
And so, whew, it hits,
Oh.
but not good enough.
Let me just refresh. My camera's broke again.
No worries. But we're going to go into the second round. I'm going to have you both roll d4s for me.
I got a 3.
Is it working?
Yep, we're good.
Okay, cool.
D4.
Okay. Let's get my D4. That is a 3 again.
All right, so Faenor, you're going to go ahead. You can choose first or second.
I'll let him go first.
All right.
Maybe he was off-put by my performance before, so I want him to perform at his best. I don't want to beat anyone just because of like some tactic. I want to prove that I'm better than them.
Perfect. And so we're going to go ahead and have Theodric make his way on to the field with Barada Rock. Go ahead and make your animal handling check for us.
That is a 7.
7.
Wow.
You ride, boom. You throw it, almost similar spot, but on the opposite side. And at the very end of this one, Broderick looks a little uncomfortable seeing all the eyes on him. And maybe, perhaps, that could be just the reason that you are not quite as accurate as you would think you would be. Faenor, go ahead and make your roll.
Okay. I want to say to him, don't worry, lad. You seem a bit young, but you got a fine steed there. More time and it'll improve.
My thanks. Usually my targets, I like to let them get in close.
Yeah, and I rolled a 12.
12. You roll a little bit better than him, and you, right in the middle, or like not right in the middle, right in the middle of like the second ring, and then you dismount, and all of the elves that are looking out calmly clap, but you can tell they're clearly excited. Everyone looks, it's just like, oh man, that young boy, he lost, but man, does his steed look good. And like pretty much everyone's stopped paying attention to Elstan altogether, to which he is very visibly disgruntled for this. And he storms off, and he doesn't even stay for like the final ceremony.
Before that ceremony, can I go up to Theodric and be like, hey lad, like, where are you from? You don't seem to be from around here.
Oh, I'm from Rohan.
Oh, I stayed with some descendants of Rohan, the woodman and the Mirkwood. Maybe you're familiar?
I've ventured close to Mirkwood and into it a little, but it's not exactly somewhere I'd like to return to be honest.
Yeah. Don't worry. I think I'll have a surprise for you in a minute. But come up. You can join me and my friends. And I like gesture towards like Valineth and Jaylyn.
I'd appreciate that.
Yeah, we join up.
So you
I've
have
almost got my arm around him. I'm like, you seem like you may need a little guidance. Accompany me, and together we'll do great things.
And as Elstan he walks away with his horse, the number 3 spot in the podium is actually left empty, but standing up on the second one is Theodric with Broderick. And finally, standing upon the first place, we have Faenor with his beautiful Nymphiaron. And to which a scroll is given, a note of invitation to Faenor, and on top of that, a sack of money as well.
How many coins did I get? I must know.
12. 12 silver.
I'm not poor anymore. I'm about
Not
to be
as
if I go.
poor
I'm
anymore.
about to be if I go find a merchant with a mask.
Awesome.
But yes, cool. But the ceremony's been had.
Ceremony's been had. Everything is finished and taken care of.
Theodric, Jaylyn, Theodric, Valineth, Theodric, Valineth. You might recognize Valineth won the archery contest just the other day, and I've heard that Jaylyn mighty fine at riddles. But I know that both of them already have invitations, and I was wondering perhaps if you would like to join us.
Certainly. I mean, I don't really have that many plans right now, but yes, some company does sound fine.
I'm gonna like throw the little scroll that I've got, like catch it in my hand and hand it to him. Like, I already had an invitation into the hall anyway, so I've got a spare.
Oh, well, my thanks.
How about this, mate? Look, I know about you lot, but that melee looks mighty fine to me, and it occurs to me that if we all band together, we have a pretty good shot of winning the thing.
That sounds like a mighty challenge.
I mean, sure, but between the 4 of us, I think we can really swing it.
Oh, no, I wasn't dissuading you. I was saying it's gonna be fun.
Yes. It will be an experience. I have to admit, last time I was in a competition that involved combat, it didn't go the way I hoped.
Oh, what way to really sell yourself. But
Well, what can I say? Sometimes the rocks win.
Valineth, not even listening to this, trounces right up to Broderick and gives him a fine pat on the mane and says, "Why, what a fine Broderick you are, good young one." and turns to Theodric. So tell me, Theodric, you said your name was. What is your Baradorok's name?
Bravado
Oh, I can see that, of course. It is a brown horse, but what is his name?
His name is Baradarok.
I go up and I put my arm around Valineth. Excuse me for a moment. It's exactly as we feared. I don't think you really know Cinder.
I think it's a fine name. Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
it sounds perfectly fine to Jaylyn. It actually sounds kind of cool.
No. Theodric flushes a little bit and is just like, I was a child, okay? Like,
I mean, that's fair.
I was young.
I
Look
think
at
it
this.
is quite
I've been
appropriate.
traveling with this sword for so long, and I haven't even named it yet because I want to make the perfect name, right? It's too much pressure.
Maybe you should name it Baradorok.
That doesn't really
I-
fit. And then
Honor
we
of
would
the
be
horse,
talking about my
or-
sword, and then it would be talking about the horse. It would be too complicated. Okay.
You have a point. But I like it. Theodric, you have a fine steed here, and you seem like a fine young man yourself. How old do you happen to be, young one?
I recently celebrated my 17th birthday.
Oh, and what a fine young man you are. I'd be honored to have you in our company. If you'd have us. If you'd have us.
I would appreciate that.
Lovely.
But yeah,
Off to the tavern!
And so,
Wait.
yes.
Theodric, are you even old enough to drink?
yes.
Okay.
I mean, we drink much when we're much younger in Rohan, but
Yeah,
Sure, I
he's
just
not a
feel a bit
child.
responsible, because like I'm the only other, human here.
admittedly,
Okay.
the people further
Oh,
up here do
Way to make
seem
it about
rather...
race.
What are you trying to say here? Are you saying that an elf can have the exact same life and social experience as a human?
Yeah, like, look at me.
Yeah,
Like,
He does very
not a
much
bad
show like
example.
he is within the people.
and Valineth looks at him, and he's like, he's an exception.
Excuse
Yeah.
you. When was the last time you were in Rohan or even in Bree?
neither, but I was hanging out with some Rohirrim
I
descendants.
rest my case.
I feel like that counts.
I rest my case.
I have Rohirrim friends.
I'm allowed.
I have distant relatives of Rohirrim friends. I know a guy.
This
Or
is
two.
very good.
On our way to the to whatever tavern, probably the Broken Scale.
Mhm.
Is
Can
it
I
the
actually?
broken scale or the missing scale?
The broken
I have-
scale.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna see if I can pick up that mask on the way if the dance hasn't happened.
They're gonna say 15. Yeah, it's still there. There's 2 left, but 15 silver pieces for that mask.
I'm just gonna straight up pay that. I already tried to haggle with them once. It didn't go well. These
Perfect.
these masks seem to be of pretty good quality. So
They are very good quality.
it's- and look, I'm gonna keep it afterwards.
Mhm.
So it's part of the symbolism he feels. Like it's
Perfect.
spiritual connection to it.
Yeah, so you make your way doing all this, enjoying the festivities together, and you find your way over at the Broken Scale. And as you settle down for a few drinks, some merriment, and some bonding, the day comes to a close, and with that, our session will come to a close. Next week, we will pick back up in the celebration here in Dale. And see just kind of how everything goes, and finishing up the rest of this, and hopefully meeting new people and exploring more that Dale has to offer. So we're going to go ahead and end it there then.
Cool.
This was
hey.
fun, guys.
Excellent.
I'm so proud.
Yeah, you guys are awesome. You're a fun group. Really fun group.
Aw.
Look,
We
I
wouldn't
like,
be able to do it without you, though. So much love
Yeah.
and appreciation.
Exactly.
yeah, hell yeah. I do like that in the end we all actually have an invitation.
Yep.
Right?
I was only in it for the money.
I
So
mean,
it's a
honestly,
good thing.
that's-
It's a good thing you
that's
won it then.
incredible.
Saying that with those glasses on is just perfect.
That's
I was just here
completely
for
Cash.
the money.
Cash money.
Cash money.
Well,
I have to wear those
and then I
glasses
immediately,
every stream. I will not be taking no for an
I then
answer.
immediately went and spent all my money on some swag masks.
I hope
Got my
the
drip.
2 silver helped, my friend.
Yeah, I only have 4 silver left.
Oh great.
Drinks are on me, guys.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Oh, on you, Jaylyn. I thought they were on a Faenor.
Faenor is very poor at the moment. I think Jaylyn is the richest at the moment, though I don't know how much Theodric has.
About 9. 9
Yeah, no,
silver.
I'm swimming it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm good.
I just kind of keep the deer mask like on my like pauldron as well, like on my shoulder. So
like it.
it looks cool, and eventually I can just take it and equip it on.
I like it.
But
I
it's
like
just
it, and
like
then I can
running around
picture when like your eyes get all aglow. You can see that through the
See it
mask.
through the mask,
Yeah.
like the white with the gold, and then just bright orange like piercing out of it.
Yeah, nice.
fun.
Awesome.
Very nice.
So we're gonna go ahead and end our session there. Thank you all for those who joined us. It looked like it was a pretty fun chat. I'll have to go back and read it. That looked good. But thank you all. You guys are amazing. Thank you to the group. We continue this every week. Basically going forward, and we're going to be adventuring through Middle Earth. We might have sessions like this where we're spending time role playing, doing competitions, that kind of stuff, but we're going to take our time and we're going to enjoy this beautiful world of Middle Earth. Any last minute things, Dain, that you want to mention?
Really quick update for the schedule for the week ahead. We do have a couple days worth of streams ahead. So tomorrow, Thursday, I will be continuing my playthrough of Elden Ring New Game Plus 5. And we're going to be blowing through that. It should be a great time. I will not be streaming this Friday, unfortunately. Busy life. Lots of things going on with graduation for my students, so unfortunately no stream on Friday. However, Cole and Max will be streaming it's Friday, technically, at 11:30 a.m. at Japan Standard Time, and they'll be playing some Cuphead that day. So there's still going to be a stream. It's just going to be earlier in the day on Friday. For my American friends, that would be Thursday at 7:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. So whatever time that is for you guys. But this weekend, too, we have session, was it 19 of
19.
Everlast? 18 or 19?
19.
I can't remember. Session 19 of Everlast, which is our original tabletop RPG, which our amazing lore master, Kyle, is currently in the process of creating. It's a wonderful tabletop RPG that's just absolutely like amazing, super fun. It's a really cool and special world. So if you guys haven't checked out Everlast, all of our previous sessions are up on the YouTube channel that we have here. That's linked in the About section. But also come join us for session 19. For everyone on the eastern part of the world, it's a little bit late, but that's what the YouTube videos are for as well. So that technically for us, that is at 12:30 a.m. on Sunday morning for us. It's super late.
For our Australian friends here joining us, that's 1:30 a.m. in the morning. So
Yeah.
I'd be surprised if you jumped in, but if you did, good for you, I guess. Yes, Demighty Gamer. What a shame. I even brought a puzzle. Oh, make sure every single Wednesday night at 7 p.m. at JST. So basically take the time right now and subtract it by 3 hours. We're playing. So if you go ahead and leave a follow, you will never miss what's going on here. So sorry that you missed at the very end, but we hope that you could join us. Thank you so much for joining, even if it is the end of it. So 10:15 now for me. Okay. But we are here. So just take that time and rewind it 3 hours. So, okay.
And yeah, so join us for Everlast as well. And again, we have plenty of YouTube content as well. And then starting into next week, Kyle is going to be continuing his playthrough of Bravely Default 2 on Monday. And we
Pokemon.
also have Pokemon the next Wednesday. But we also have movie night in the Discord. So feel free to join the Discord. I appreciate you for posting the link there, Caro. We have a very active and wonderful Discord, and it's just an amazing, wonderful community. So feel free to enter or to join our Discord. And 2 quick announcements. We do have a sponsor here at Fantasy Forge Studios. It is Dai Snacky, and Dai Snacky is a Tokyo-based. I live in Japan, and Dai Snacky is a Tokyo-based goods and snack company that is a small family-run business in Tokyo. So they're awesome. They do awesome like boxes, mystery boxes. We've given away a couple of them. They have a omakase box, which is pretty much just like a mystery box of like snacks and goods that are inside. They have seasonal stuff right now. They're doing a Sakura themed one, so lots of Sakura themed goodies and snacks, and those are like department store stuff that you can't get outside of Japan, which is really cool. And then they have their kawaii boxes, which is anything from anime goods to other character goods to game goods. We just gave away for our 2-year anniversary, which just happened not too long ago, a Nintendo themed box. And again, the best part about it is free shipping worldwide, which from Japan, that's good. That's a freaking good
Yeah,
deal.
it's pretty legit. I send packages back to my family in the States, and it's like literally from here for like a normal package, it could be anywhere from like $50 to $100 just to send a package. So the fact that they have free shipping, I don't know how they do it, but they do it. So that's awesome.
Yeah, they're awesome. And I mean, I believe Australian, didn't your friend win that
Indeed,
that Nintendo box? And so you'll have to let us know how those snacks are.
Yeah,
Hopefully
they
they're
look
delicious.
good. I haven't had any yet. We're waiting for I think
Cool,
next weekend.
Nice.
But yeah,
Well, it should be
there was
good.
a lot in that box. I don't know if you sent the video. We did an unboxing video.
Oh, did you?
Yes, I'm not sure if he's
what?
put it up.
I
He said
freaking
he
look
was gonna
forward to
put it up
seeing
in the
that.
Discord. I'm not sure if he has yet.
Yeah, if
But,
he does, put
we
it in the
got that
Discord.
sorted. There
We'll
was a
love to
lot of
see it.
stuff in there for $100. Like we were actually so surprised at the just the amount of stuff in there.
Yeah. And just
Sweet.
one quick thing before we do end up going. It is not just your normal Japanese mystery box as well. It's goods that you could really only get here in Japan. A lot of them are like Kit Kats, I don't know, Pocky, that stuff you can get your just average Asian market wherever you live in the world. But all this stuff is very uniquely Japanese. In the mystery boxes and stuff that I've received for being a sponsor or for me sponsoring them, I've gotten things that I've never even seen here in Japan. I live in Japan, so it's kind of crazy. Good stuff for sure.
Right. And thank you so much for that, Jaylyn. I appreciate that posting in the Discord. But we have also... we're going to be starting a special kind of collaboration with them. And so for every 15 boxes that actually get referred to from Fantasy Forge, starting with boxes that have already been referred, I know a few of you guys have done that, basically mentioning Forge has sent me. And then if you also send your stream name, we're actually going to be starting giveaways of Dice Snacky boxes. Every 15 boxes that they are referred to through us, they're going to go ahead and give away a free box to members of the channel. Details will be to come, but that's a good way to be able to continue to grow the community and also to support that family business as well.
Thanks for the reminder. I completely spaced that. I appreciate it. But yeah, that should be coming soon. So guys, enjoy the rest of your evening. I mean, unless anyone has anything else to say, I guess we'll leave it to Kyle to take us away.
You good? Everyone good?
Yeah, good. I'm good.
I love it.
Everyone else?
Thank you guys so much. I know it's late. Get some good sleep. We won't normally be running this late, but today there was a lot of background and lore and stuff that needed to happen. So
But
we're
we're
good.
together now.
We're
So it's
together
all
now.
good.
Exactly. So it's the perfect way to end it. I love it. But from now on, we'll see you next week, and may the road go ever on and on.